Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? The professor is fine. I just had to charge my phone a little bit. So I just waited an extra minute. All right. How's everybody today? I am fine. Just came from the pool. I told Jen, I go, it's a sad weekend. She says, why? I go, she says, don't be sad. I said, there's no football. She doesn't, it's a joke. She doesn't get, but when the football season's over, you're like, now what are we supposed to watch? Going through my notes, going through my shows. So there was a, I don't know. I've never heard of this guy. And where is he? Where did this? I was watching a video, so I wanted to report on it. Is it this side?
You know, a lot of investors right now are sitting on the sidelines thinking they're doing quite
around when the truth comes out about how much of this stuff is really out there, how much is really paper. Every day on the wall.
This is weird. I was watching something, but I don't think I put it on my like, so I wanted to show this. Where did it go? Anyway, it's some guy talking, and I just rip him a new one because he doesn't understand paper gold, physical gold. This is ridiculous. All right, just a second. I hate when you open it up to it and then it disappears. And then you're like, where the fuck did it go? All right, let's try this again. So go into view all of my liked, or view all of my not liked, just view all my history.
Breakup. That having been said.
All right, so I had it, but I didn't know who it was. Okay, so I've never heard of this clown. he's one of these Peter Schiff guys, or something, he learns from Peter Schiff, which tells you how stupid he is. Here's my comments. So I'm watching, and it's the same bullshit. Where did you find this idiot? He's recommending ETFs and stocks. The guy is clueless. ETFs are worthless. You can't get the physical gold and silver. It's just paper that's worthless. He's quoting paper gold and silver, not understanding it's price fixed and physical prices will come out with Brics gold-backed currency. He doesn't understand Austrian economics. Avoid this joker, clueless. Likes Casey, Rude, and Shift, all salesmen. Very clueless. The professor, gold 20,000, silver 2,000. So why did I say those kind words as I always do to idiots? Well, we're going to watch his gold outlook for about 3 or 4 minutes. And this is one reason the gold price doesn't go up, although not really, because we know it's got nothing to do with physical supply and demand. So I'm going to show you this. And the guy keeps talking about thesis. And it's like, this guy ain't doing a thesis. Okay, here we go.
That Nomi Prince wrote out, and she laid out how the Fed involvement in the economy has distorted, just permanently distorted everything. And so it's very interesting. So just transitioning to metals, right? So many people have heard your take on gold and how that is your asset. I believe that's your asset for the year. And so, and you're looking at more of the gold equities. I mean, those are the ones that have been killed. A lot of people have, given up, thrown out the towel and everything. And then I heard that you use the actual physical metal as insurance. And so that's what I use it for as well, insurance for my wealth, because it is legal money. And so what's your outlook on gold this year? Are you, if we do get some type of drawdown from a recession, usually everything gets hit. So I remember in 2020 when gold actually went down for a short amount of time and then bounced back up pretty quick, and that's probably people needing to get liquidity. And so, what's your take on gold for this year?
All right. Well, you've put several threads there to follow up on. But let's first separate gold itself from the gold stocks. It's an important distinction. This is a famous Doug Caseyism. One of the first things.
Who the fuck's that?
I guess you could say he taught me. It's kind of obvious when you think about it, but it was an important principle that he hammered home time and time again. The reason to own gold is for prudence. You can look at it as insurance. I look at it as money. I look at it as my long-term savings. I only keep, cost of living expense type money in my bank account. My long-term savings go into bullion. And we were talking before about, about the possibility of a market downturn, which you've just brought up again. And I said, well, maybe bad news will be good news. There will be no downturn. But if things do turn south, that's the beauty of having insurance. That's what helps you to sleep well at night. If everything else goes crazy, if the worst comes to worst, then you've got that ultimate form of liquidity, which is why it does spike, as you pointed out in 2020. It's not that gold fails in a crash or liquidity crunch scenario. It did the same thing in 2008. It's that it's being drawn upon. It's being savings dipped into when people are getting margin calls and there's no bid on anything else. People will dip into their savings to cover their bills. That's a great thing to be able to have that reassurance. So, I'm not bullish on gold, or I'm not buying gold bullion because I think the price is going up in this year. I want to make money that way. If I did, by the way, I'd buy an ETF because I wouldn't have to pay the premiums on, physical, coins or bars and take delivery and storage and all that stuff. If I'm speculating on the price movements, so I'll go with some paper equivalent, the Sprott physical or something. But no, savings.
See, now I know he's not real. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Sprott, so he's a rude guy. Hey, Bobby Bo. So I was showing you a guy who I was watching this today just to get something to see what I would teach today. And the point is, here's this guy who is talking about gold like he knows, who learned from Paul Casey and Rick Rude. What do you know what I think about these idiots? And I don't get it. So this is my point. I'm trying to explain why we don't want to listen to these guys. So he talks about, well, if I wanted gold, I would buy an ETF. So he clearly doesn't understand what an ETF is because you don't take possession of the gold. He doesn't understand that everything's crashing because the dollar's worthless. He can't comprehend the dollar's got no value. He can't comprehend ETFs are a stupid thing to do because you don't own the physical. Why do I want an ETF? It's no physical. It carries the price of gold, but the price of gold's price fixed. I can't go to zero with my gold and my silver. An ETF can go to zero because everybody's going to sell all the dollars and the dollar will drive it to zero, but the gold won't. So he's totally clueless. Listening to this guy, I showed you my quote. Let me show you again. I thought you might not have been here. So I go like, where did you find this idiot? This isn't a guys as stupid as the Mark McGuire guys. He's recommending ETFs and stocks. The guy is clueless. ETFs are worthless and can't get the physical gold and silver. It's just paper that's worthless. He's quoting paper, gold, and silver, not understanding it's price fixed, and physical prices will come out with Brics, gold-backed currency. He doesn't understand Austrian economics. Avoid this joke. They're clueless. Life, Casey, Rude, and Shift. I think it was like. All salesmen very clueless. The professor, and I'm saying 20,000 gold, 2,000 silver. So the guy doesn't get what COMEX is. He doesn't get paper versus physical at all. He doesn't get inflation. He doesn't get that you don't want to be in the market. Why would I be in an ETF? Oh, I don't have I don't actually get the physical. And he thinks that's a good thing to own an ETF instead of physical. This is the first problem that this is what shows you he doesn't know what he's talking about, right? He's clueless. He has no idea what he's talking about and is very clueless in that area. So how do you listen to this guy? Then he starts talking about stocks, and he says the gold and silver stocks are, they're all down. Well, you got to understand how a stock goes up. If Michael Douglas doesn't say Blue Star, Golden Elephant says buy Blue Star, they don't go up. The stock market is like eBay. It's a bunch of auctions. And everybody's in Alphabet and Microsoft and Amazon, and nobody's in these other stocks. Well, the gold mining stocks are down because the people that buy them are the portfolio managers, and they're not going to buy gold. They don't want anything to do with gold going up. So they can't buy gold. They can't buy gold physical or stocks. And if nobody's buying, of course, they're going down. That's why I got out of Newmont Mining a year and a half ago. It just keeps going down. Something wasn't right, but all of it's going into the 4 or 5 stocks. So why is he recommending stocks, or why is he recommending, I'd be in an ETF instead of physical? What idiot would rather be in an ETF than physical? Considering you don't have physical in an ETF, what does it do? It does the gold part. Well, ETFs are a scam. They're all scams because they kind of reset, so you never really make money in it. And then they take their fees out of it. It's a real bad product. Never, ever, ever play an ETF. They're very bad. No matter what it is, gold, oil, silver, copper, whatever you want to play, don't play an ETF. There's a big cost to it that they don't tell you about. So anyway, so you're there in the ETF. You don't get gold. So what's our story? That the dollar's going out and it'll go to zero. Everything valued in dollars goes to zero, gets revalued in gold. If I'm in an ETF and the ETF's, I don't know, $50, what's the value of the ETF when the dollar goes out to zero? Oh, it's zero. What's it worth if gold were to go to 20,000? Zero. All the paper in there goes to zero. So that's the first problem, right? And no, so you're looking at that. Let me just ask her. So what's the problem with this guy? This guy's telling us bad information. And who's going to listen to him? Well, if we look what it is, who's going to listen? Uranium supply has gotten much worse. Gold and silver outlook recession. Who's going to? Only a gold person. People like us would watch this show. I don't know who this guy is, but he's an idiot, and he's following, Rick Rude and Peter Schiff and somebody else. He's looking at charts. The long-term spot price silver is the largest cup and handle pattern I've ever seen. Well, who the fuck cares why do we care about that? What is the significance of a cup of looking at a chart? It's Brics. See, they're missing the whole point. That's like looking at the trend of New England. Oh, wait, but Tom Brady's not on it. But look at New England's trend. They're a good dog. Yet that's with Brady. Without Brady, so you can't use it anymore. And once you get Brics coming, you can't use these charts. They're useless because it's all paper chart, right? It's all paper COMEX charts. That's all it is. So the charts are useless. Just like you're looking at a New England chart. It's Brady's not there. It's useless. So this guy's poison, and I hope you don't listen to people like that. Or once you spot that they're talking about paper gold and they're looking at a chart and they're talking about ETFs, you quietly turn it off, give it the down bullshit. You can make a comment and get the fuck off the channel because there's nothing to listen to. You're not going to learn anything, and all he's talking about makes no sense. Is not real, right? So he's in a fantasy land of Rick Rude and Schiff and these guys, Doug Harvey, whoever the fuck that guy is. So don't listen to them. Then you start getting, I'm going to buy an ETF. I know the professor said not to because you don't actually own physical gold in them. And the goal is to buy physical gold. Now, the other thing is, why do they keep calling it protection? Why do they keep calling it insurance? It's a fucking asset. It's money. But tell me the difference between gold and this. This is an asset. Does this care what the dollar does? No. Is this money? It's better than money. It's Mahomes. Okay, so what is the difference between this and gold? Gold's money. This isn't. They're both assets, and they both go up in value based on demand. This is a 50 count. I'm sure it went up after he won the Super Bowl, just like Barry. Here's Barry, right? Now his hurt a little with all the bullshit he does, but this is 100 also. So again, why can't it go up? Why can't gold go up? If it's bid up, if more people want it than the supply, why can't it go up in value? Why is it only insurance? And insurance for what? The recession? not insurance for the recession. It's when this goes out to zero, it's insurance. It's not insurance for the recession. It's getting off the Titanic thing and getting into gold as the safe haven. So it is very much an asset. It is very much money. It is very much going up in value. So this is the other problem, is that we look at gold as insurance. Doesn't really have a value. Won't go up. The dollar goes down, but gold doesn't go up. Why not? Why doesn't demand push gold up? Why doesn't all the central banks buying gold push the price up? Why does the derivatives push the price down? They're not physical demand. They're not trade going up and down. It's not physical. So this is the problem with idiots like this talking. So let's maybe do another listen before we all throw up.
I want the physical. I want to hold it in my hand. I want it to be a long, a financial asset for which there's no short, right? It's a thing of beauty. The context, though, for this year, the outlook for gold this year is that I do think the gold dollar exchange ratio will go up. And I think it's a fantastic setup that we're going into an environment. Recessions are good for gold historically. Rate cuts are good for gold historically. If I'm right about the weakening U.S. economy, then that shifts the Forex market. So it's good for the euro and alternatives to the dollar, including gold. So there's a number of factors that I think are very bullish for gold this year. And if we're going into that at plus or minus $2,000 in the gold dollar exchange ratio, that's fantastic. The last time we had a situation like this, we're going into it around 1,500. And the time before that, we're going into it around 1,000.
He totally misses the point.
And we get these huge legs up when we get one of these big breakouts. The numbers get kind of clickbaity, and I don't even want to say what the numbers are. The audience can do the math. But if we're going into such a situation where we have frequently seen something on the order of a 30 to 50% rise at 2,000, well, just 10% is 2,200, 20% is 2,400, and those are numbers that would absolutely be making it.
What is he talking about? 10%, 20%? He doesn't know. He's just throwing a number out there. He doesn't know. He's still basing it on COMEX and the paper derivative market. He can't differentiate the physical. This blows my mind that this guy can even talk about gold and not understand he's talking about the paper market. Doesn't mention Brics, doesn't mention inflation, doesn't mention this has no value left. And when COMEX goes, that's why it's not a 10 or 20%. Oh, it'll be 2,200 or 2,300. That's not even the concept. That concept doesn't even matter. It's a paper concept if the derivatives keep going the way they are. Again, he's going with Tom Brady's still at New England. He can't see the forest in front of the trees or whatever that thing is. So this is the problem when you listen to morons. This is why I call them idiots, because they are talking like they know what they're talking about, which they don't. He comes on this show. I never heard this show, the Money Levels show. The host, I don't know who he is. He doesn't sound like he's an economist. This guy comes on, clearly not an economist, listening to Doug Jones and Peter Schiff and Rick Rude. And then he's talking about ETFs. Sounds like he's a salesman for the ETF company, right? Oh, I'd buy ETFs. That should never come. Does it ever come out of my mouth to buy an ETF? Fuck no. Why would you want to own paper? Why would I want to own anything priced in dollars when the dollar's going to zero? Now, I won't tell you it's going to zero tomorrow. It's going to zero as soon as nobody wants it. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's as soon as Brics says, okay, we're open for business. Who wants gold-backed currency? Now, there's 40 countries wanting to join Brics. Egypt just got off of the dollar. So now if you want to trade with the Egyptians, you're not trading with the dollar. You're trading with, I think it's yuan or something. They all want to trade with gold, and they're all buying gold hand over fist. So we have a huge demand for gold. Why? Because everybody knows the dollar's going out. So they don't want to hold dollars. They're all getting out of dollars before it goes to zero, as what we're saying. Going into an ETF, you're not getting out of the dollars, right? So we're on the Titanic, and I love this example. On the Titanic is paper, dollar, stock market. It's all the Ponzi schemes. It's the banks, money market, CDs. It's the real estate trust. It's the what do you call them? The annuities. It's Wall Street with stocks and bonds and real estate trusts there. All the Ponzi scheme stuff is in paper on the Titanic. The only thing not on the Titanic is gold. Well, if we know this is sinking, as we know, all the countries are getting off of it. Everybody's buying gold. Why are they buying gold? Because they know this is going to zero. So don't even believe me. Fuck that. I don't know what I'm talking about. Why is Switzerland buying, central bank buying gold? Why is Sweden's? Why is Germany's? Why is Japan and China? Why does Russia own 32,000 tons of it? We all know Putin might be a warmonger, but is not stupid. We believe he's smart. So with all that said, we look at it. We want to get off the ship and out of paper completely. So if I'm in an ETF, am I out of paper? No, because what is it? It's some sort of electronic transfer funds or something like that. It's not physical gold. So if I see the dollar going out and the ETF going out, am I going to say, hey, I got 30 ounces of gold, I want it? Sorry, so does 5,000 other people have the same 30 ounces you have. You're not getting it, but you don't know that until now. So for this son of a bitch to say buy ETFs, you don't own any gold. That's why I tell you not to. And that's why I believe ETFs are down, because everybody is being told to buy the physical, get out of the ETF. So if I'm in an ETF, what do? I sell the ETF and I buy the physical. That's what you should be doing. That's how you get off the Titanic. You got to get off the banking and off of Wall Street. And the only boat available is the physical boat. And you can't lose in the physical boat because you can't inflate it. You can't print it. These guys can't even say that right. They just say there's no counterparty risk. What the hell does that mean? I'm a bright boy. Bobby, you're a bright boy. What does it mean? We sit there going, what does that mean? Oh, the bank doesn't owe you like the risk and these dollars. This is like really an IOU from the bank. It doesn't matter. I go spend it, and there's no IOU. I mean, it's a debt instrument, but nobody's, the grocery store, I give them $100 for, 2 bananas, and then I'm done with it. And you go get it from the bank, I guess. I don't know how it works. But they go to my bank account. I mean, that's, so I go with my debit card. I pay for the $100. I got money in the account. So I guess then it would go out of my bank. They would then go into my account and grab the $100. So I don't know why it's a debt instrument, but the point is you can't keep printing it to zero. But this guy doesn't recognize that. He never recognizes the inflation. He doesn't recognize we're in a recession. He doesn't recognize the physical gold is there, and he thinks it's just it's insurance. It's not insurance. If you understand it, it's not insurance. It will go up dramatically when Brics goes to the gold standard and prices it at 10,000 an ounce. Then it'll go up. Again, I mean, it's simple why the price will go up, but they'll explode COMEX. COMEX is keeping it down, yet he doesn't recognize that. So anyway, this is the problem with idiots like that. They don't understand what they talk about. They hear something, it sounds good. Oh, look, in 2008, gold did this. Well, this ain't 2008. Brady's not on New England now. I could go back to 2008 New England Patriot stats and say, hey, this is New England. Yeah, but Brady's not there anymore. Peyton Manning's not there anymore. Drew Brees isn't there anymore. Lawrence Taylor's not on the Giants anymore. So I can't use the trend. I can't use 2008. This is the problem with statistics and trend analysis is it's got to be the same. This is why I warn Nick and other people about using math formulas. You got to have the same variables, which you very rarely do, especially in football. You've got trades and you've got injuries, new coaches, new quarterbacks. It throws all that shit out the window. I don't know. Would you have come up with a formula that said KC should be a 3-point favorite and they're a 3-point dog to the Niners and I'm going to bet them? Was there a formula that told you to bet on the Chiefs? Probably not, because they didn't look good. What did Nick tell me? Oh, they don't look that good this year. They don't look the same. And I go, it's the playoffs, it's Mahomes. Don't worry about that. And they looked fine. Notice they didn't play Tony at all, right? Tony didn't see the field. You didn't hear his name once. You did hear the guy from SMU, Rice, and you heard Kelsey, and you heard Pacheco, and you heard that's the names you heard, and the tight ends. So what he did was he got rid of Tony, and he put that other tight end in there, I think Watson or something, and he was the second target, and he was open all the time because they didn't cover him. They're worried about Kelsey, and then they're worried about Rice, maybe Pacheco, but who? Tom Watson, the tight end, we don't care about him. So when you hear these guys, I love how everything kind of comes together. When you listen to these guys, it's the same thing. They talk paper. They don't talk bricks because they don't know, which is why we listen to Alligator and Mark McGuire and Egon. They give us what's going on in Russia with bricks, gold-backed currency. But if we listen to these guys, you never hear. They don't even understand what it is, nor do they understand. Maybe they can't talk about it because they'll get in trouble or something. I don't know. But they don't get it. They don't really get that the dollar, if there's no demand for a product, so now you got to understand economics. If there's no demand for this product, and this product nobody wants, there's no price. And that's why I do this. Is there a demand for Mahomes 50 count? And I guarantee you it's yes. That would give it a value. How much the value is determined by the market. I put it on sale. Somebody's going to buy it. We'll see what they buy it for. That's the market. It could be $10. It could be 10,000. Again, there's only 50 of them. And it's Mahomes now with 3 Super Bowls. So it went up a lot. And this is the only Mahomes card I got, by the way. I haven't been collecting. So the only other rookie I'd probably want is Burrow, but he hasn't won the title yet. So to me, he's Dan Fouts or Dan Marino. The card's okay, but it's not Montana. So right now I would go after Mahomes. But that's really the only 2 rookie cards. I would not recommend a Lamar rookie card or any of these others. It's all such bullshit. He wins the MVP. Why? Who did he beat? Oh, he beat the Lions. Yeah, okay. So again, you can see how they mix together, right? Football and gold. It's the trend that you look at must be consistent as when it was there. So when these guys go back and say, well, 2008, look what happened. Oh, it was 1,500 or 1,000. Well, A, the dollar's inflated. B, the demand's much stronger because we see that the dollar's going out because Biden keeps printing and printing and printing. And we've got the election. And what do you think is going to happen? Trump can't do anything. He's got to pay the debt. He's got to pay, how many, $2-3 trillion on the debt. And the debt's going to keep going up. So he's going to be sitting there with a $35 trillion debt that's going to 40. I don't care who's in the White House. Unless it's me, it's going to keep going up and up and up, which means unless you go to gold, you're fucked. And if you do go to gold, then our gold goes up even further. And if you don't go to gold, the dollar goes out, the Brics comes in, Brics goes to gold, then the gold goes up. Either way, gold goes up. either way, this goes to zero because Brics, nobody wants this. They don't want to be controlled by it and sanctioned by it and everything else. So that's what's going on. So I advise you not to waste your time on this guy. It's like an hour long. He talks about uranium, which I don't get the big deal with uranium, but the problem, then he tries to sell it. Well, silver is needed in batteries and that, so they're going to keep the price down because for manufacturing purposes, it's a metal. It's dollars. It's currency. It's money. Silver is money. So it's not going to, they can try to keep it down so Tesla can build batteries. It ain't going to, you can only hold the fingers in the dike long enough. And that's the same thing here. You can only, the COMEX can only hold the price of silver and gold down for a while. With gold, they don't have the same excuse because it's too expensive to be used in batteries. It would probably be better for batteries than silver, but it's too expensive. And that's so if you're telling me silver is not going up because they need it for that, well, steel goes up, iron goes up, all the metals go up based on demand. But we can see silver is very undervalued. So the play here is to buy your gold and then to buy as much silver as you can at this cheap price. And then the idea is gold goes 20, 30,000. Once COMEX says, hey, I'm here, we have a gold-backed currency. Do you want you don't want the dollar anymore. You want the gold-backed currency. Okay. And once that happens, then silver becomes, you then trade it for gold because the normal difference should be 10-1, but because gold keeps going up because the central banks are buying it, but nobody's buying silver. The silver's sitting at 25, but the gold keeps going up and up and up. So now it's what, 92-1? Well, that's going to go back to 8-1 because that's what it normally is out of the ground. Even probably more now because there's no silver mines. It's not prudent to own a silver mine because it costs more than the $25 they get for it. So the only time you get silver is in a copper mine or a gold mine and you happen to pull silver out. So there's a lot less silver being pulled out, but it disintegrates, right? So when you put it in a battery and the battery goes, the silver's gone. Gold you can't do that with. Gold can never go. It's indestructible, but silver is. So it'll go down to 8-1. Let's say 10-1. So you got 20 ounces of silver for $540. I just paid 27. I think 270. I paid 26 an ounce the other day. So that's $260. So let's double it to 520. Well, let's keep it at 10. So $260 and gold's now 20,000 and silver's now 2,000. So my 10 ounces will buy the 1 ounce of gold. So I can invest $260 and pull out a $20,000 ounce of gold. No risk, no inflation, so you can't risk it. Where are you going to get that kind of investment, return on investment with no risk? Tell me where. I'll get in that line, but you can't tell me where because there is no line unless it's made off. So that's where we go with it. We start cashing in 10 ounces of silver for an ounce of gold here, there, and everywhere. Then there's no tax on it, and we just store the gold and watch it go. And then we're on an island earning 20% with the guy from Die Hard. It's funny. I was watching this movie and Liam Neeson's in it with his son, some Richardson guy. So I guess he was married to Jolie Richardson or whatever. And so his son, it's just weird. He's in a movie with his son. You're like, really? Yeah, not too much nepotism there. But anyway, that's what you'll do is you can't lose with it because there's no risk. The reason it drops is COMEX, but we know we're getting rid of it. Well, maybe it is Trent Richardson. It could be. Yeah, it was his son. It said Liam Neeson and his son. And I think he was married to Jolie Richardson. I think she's from Australia or something. and I think she died in a skiing accident or something. It might have been him or somebody else, but anyway, so because his name was Michael Richardson, I was like, who the fuck's that? I never heard of him. But see, this is the problem. These guys don't quite understand Comex, what it is, or the fact that it can blow up. And they don't understand what Brics is doing. The Chinese and the Russians don't like the Americans. So here's a stoic moment with Daria and her daughter. So Daria, I said, well, let me try, hey, Tucker Carlson's went to Moscow. Maybe I can go to Russia. So I need to get a Russian visa. Okay. Where do you want me to, do you want me to get a hotel in Russia, in St. Pete, or stay at your apartment in St. Pete, or are we meeting in Turkey? And she's like, well, my daughter's thinking, why don't me and you meet? And then I can tell her you're okay, and then she'll meet me. And I'm kind of upset about that. I'm like, look, I've been helping you with food and rent and helping you with your teeth. And, generally, where is this coming from? I said, tell your daughter to stop listening to her friends and look at the facts. I even, helped her with the birthdays. I think I bought her a bike for her birthday, but very generous with them because I know it's just those two. And what exactly do you think I am? This is the stoic part. What exactly do you think I am that you need to meet me, that you can't tell from anything else, that you have to meet me for what? A half an hour, a day? I said, Carmen did that. Carmen, the Romanian, brought her sister. And then I said, Lena brought her friend Galana. I says, I get that the women in Eastern Europe get treated poorly by the guys, the Russian guys, the Romanian guys, treat them like shit. I get that. But that's not me. And I don't know how you tell that in the first 30 minutes when I'm not hitting her, or, is this how they treat the girls? So I'm a little upset that where's this coming from? I just gave you roses for Valentine's Day, and you're like, well, I got to meet him in real to see what he is. Like, this isn't real. I go, this is all real to me. I tell you the truth, just like I do here. I don't guess. You want me to? I'll make a video for you here or something. So, being stoic, I'm just laying it out, going, it kind of hurts me that you don't trust me. I said that's the one thing that bothers me, even though I'm stoic, is that I always am honest and trying to help. And if you don't trust me, then it bothers me, because where's that coming? What did I do to make you not trust me? And I think you feel the same way, Bobby. It's like, look, we're nice, honest people. Where is this coming from? What have I done that you now think something different? So I said, tell her to stop listening to her friends, because I'm sure the friends are like, oh, he's an American. And she says to me she doesn't like Russian men. And I'm like, what are Russian men? Like, and they don't like American men. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? Like, what does it mean? So anyway, I told her I'm a little upset. Where's this coming? What have I done that you don't trust or believe me? I just gave you the money, and she got roses for Valentine's Day. What part of that do you? Oh, he's terrible. He gave me money for food and Valentine's. I think that actually a great thing she said, Professor. What, Bobby? That she wants mother to meet me, and then I should meet her after the mother meets her? Or that I'm upset that she's calling me, like, thinks I might not be who I am, or a great thing she said, Professor. Explain that, Bobby. What? That, is she curious about me, or she wants to be safe, I guess? And again, I've done that. I met Jenna. She came by herself. She trusted me. But it's just funny that Lena and Carmen, they brought their friends to meet me, and then 5 minutes later, the friends left. Like Carmen's sister, she stayed about 15 minutes. We ended up playing poker, and then she was fine. I meant that if you meet alone first, then you meet the daughter afterwards. Nice, Daria tells her how great you are, etc. I agree if we haven't been chatting on WhatsApp for 2 years. That's my point. If I met your family, you would just present them here and say, look, here's the professor. So if I were to meet them, I wouldn't expect to be any different because I'm the exact same way. And with the daughter, what are you worried about? What are you thinking? Do you think I'm an asshole or I'm going to hurt you? Or what's going on in your mind that you need that confirmation? I guess is my question, because I'm just nice to them. Like I said, I'm helping you with rent and food so you can stay alive. Where are you getting that I wouldn't be nice? Also, kids tend to want their parents' attention and may interfere, you guys spending time. Well, yeah, to a point. But I didn't get that was what she said. She's like, this way you can meet him and then let me know if he's okay or not, was the quote. So the daughter wants to make sure I'm okay. And I'm like, but she wants me to, she's happy I'll be her father. Where are you getting that from? So you're going from I'm the father to now make sure he's okay, make sure he is what he says he is. But where are you getting that from? And that because we WhatsApp every day is why I say this, Bobby, because I get it. When I met Irina, I said the same thing to her. I said, well, it's very nice to meet you. And she says, you're just like I thought you would be, because we had Skyped and talked a lot on, I don't know if it was WhatsApp or whatever, but did the same thing where for some reason, when you talk on WhatsApp, until you actually meet the person in real, then I don't know what they think. I don't know where they form their opinion that's different from, I'm presenting myself here. Why would you think anything different if you met me, that I would be any different than I am now? This is the part I'm not, how the fuck can I act every day the same way, right? I would slip up. You would see, oh no, he's a Martian or something. So that's why I'm a little bit upset, not too upset, but I am, Lana wants to make sure, he's a good guy, but again, I don't know where it's coming from. And that's why I'm saying, well, maybe they've met other guys and they weren't, they came across nice, but then in real, they weren't nice. And that's why I asked her, she says, I hate Russian guys. And I'm like, well, what did Russian guys, were they nice to you? And then you met them and then they hit you and, it wasn't a good time and they made you pay or, something like that. That's what my guess is. So they've had that experience where the guy came across nice, and when he met him in person, they were assholes. Okay. And, and Russian men are kind of bastards. So, okay. I said, I get bothered when somebody questions my honesty and integrity. That bothers me because I don't make things up and lie. I want to have an image of being smart and honest because that's what I am. So I want to be real. So I think that's what bothered me is that. So again, trying to be stoic, I said what's on my mind. I says it bothers me that she has this thought, but I don't know why she has it. Where is she getting it from? Because I get her birthday gifts and stuff, and I'm feeding her. So what part of the guy feeds me? Oh, he's obviously a loser and an asshole. That's the part I get. Yeah, it's just the Bobby. It's just the emotional part, and women are emotionally beings, so they only mean it in the moment. Also, the physical touch and intimacy is what increases. Well, that's why I want to meet her. Exactly, I agree with you. As cool as Bobby Bo and the professor are, we can only be but so smooth on texting. So we need to get them in person, or else they just start flip flopping because they are very fickle. Well, I think what it is the doubt. And I mean, I had chatted with Carmen for a while, and for her to, um, for her to have to bring her sister, and then we started playing poker. Actually, we started playing hold 'em with Candy, and after about 20 minutes, I'd say the sister was convinced I'm a nice guy. I'm honest. I am what I am. You're okay with them, and she actually they both left because I just landed. So Carmen says, once you get some sleep, and then I'll see you in the morning. And I thought, oh, here she's fucking with me. She's gonna leave, but no, she actually came back. So I think it's just partly because it's Russia and Ukraine and Romania. I think they don't know any better because they don't meet American guys. So they don't realize that we're professionals, right? I'm a finance person, I'm an economist. We're not here to fuck around with them. We're here to I'm meeting you. I'm flying to Russia to meet you. I'm not fucking around. And so I think Daria gets that. I know Jenna does. Jenna wants to meet again, but Daria is in that role. And so being stoic, Daria has a way of half communicating. So now it's like I said, well, I can get the Russian visa if Tucker Carlson did. I can come and stay with you for a month in your apartment. Because that's what she asked. Like I said, should I get a hotel? She said, no, just stay with us. So now I don't know what that means, or I got to stay a night in a hotel or something for them to meet me, and then they can relax with me and realize, yeah, he's not going to hurt me, which that's what I can't believe. Giving you rent and food that you would think I would hurt you. Why would I give you rent and food? Why would I send you Valentine's if I'm going to hurt you? So I guess they've had their issues, and there's no father. She grew up without the father divorced before she was born. A typical Russian guy, right? They get married, they have the kid, and the guy before the kid's born, the guy leaves, and so she hasn't had a father. So she's attached to me that I'm a guy and I can be her father, but she needs to just make sure of it. She probably has a friend who did the same thing, and the father turned out to be an asshole. Maybe he was from America, maybe he was from Switzerland or something. Maybe it was, Mark McGuire's friend or an alligator friend or something, and he turned out to be bad. So maybe that's what she's going by. But she should look at what I'm doing with Daria. And every day, hello, how are you? I want to make sure you're okay. That I think is what's throwing me. But that's it's being stoic. It's like playing poker. Somebody bluffs, and you've got to pick that they don't just bet when they have a full house every time. So yeah. So anyway, she said that to me, and I said, well, I'll fly if I can, I'll fly to St. Pete and I'll stay with you, and I can stay really up to 3 months, but I think I just want to do a month because I would still have bills. And then, I can't run to the bank like I can here. So I'd have to leave enough money in it and hope the dollar doesn't collapse while I'm over there. Then I was reading, I think I can use my credit card and debit card there. But if I were to go to the grocery store or restaurant, I would use my credit card, but pay in rubles. And the reason I say that is when I was in Europe, when I go to Europe, I have an option of paying, like if we go to a restaurant, I can pay in euros or I can pay in dollars. And the bank will handle either one. So I believe if I'm there, I have to pay in rubles with my credit card or my debit card, which is fine. I don't know. I guess I could go to the ATM and get rubles out, or go to the bank and exchange dollars for rubles, and then I would use the rubles to pay for things. So it's stuff like that. So I was researching that yesterday. So I will call them up and see if I can get a Russian visa. Like I said, Carlson's in Moscow. Surprised how they have very low inflation and how safe the streets are. Saying I don't see this in America, and that's one thing with Putin. It's probably pretty safe to stay away from the mafia. He won't tolerate it. So again, she's happy there. She likes it. So she'd prefer me going there. So I don't have any problem with it. And we'll see. So I just, then I see this and I'm like, what does that mean? If I'm going to come and spend time with you, I'll be with your daughter too. Or is she saying the first day, I'll meet you the first day, and then if everything's okay, then she'll spend time with us. So I don't know what that means. I think that's all it means, but we'll see. But it sounded like the first time she would stay back until she got the okay from mom. Are you looking to lay the smack down, or is it more of a friendly arrangement? Oh no, it's laying this. It's all really, definitely a girlfriend experience, and really taking care of her and the daughter is what I planned on doing, and then settling down with with Daria, knowing she has a daughter. So we'll see. I kind of like when she said, "Oh, you can be my dad," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, well, you're better than the daughters I have. So what the fuck?" Oh, real quickly, Mr. Weiss, if you're listening, I watched that. He told me to watch this show, Rough Gems or something, on Netflix. And I find out it's 8 episodes, which unless it's Money Heist, I don't like. And so I get into it and I watch it, and I didn't like it. I didn't care about the people, and I just didn't get any of it. I watched it like, what the fuck's going on here? I mean, I understood the story. They got screwed by the Albanian mafia, and they were, and it was like, I didn't like the police woman at the end who arrested them and then got stuff. I thought that was way too, I thought the writing was terrible, comparing it to Money Heist, where in Money Heist, the professor outthinks the inspectors and the police, which is what you liked about Money Heist, is the professor outsmarting everybody. Here, they didn't she kept coming on, and it was like, really? Who wants to see that? I don't want to see that. So I thought it was not very good. I wouldn't recommend it. I'd recommend watching Money Heist again. Anyway, no, I'm going to lay the smackdown to Daria for sure. But I want Alana to like me. I don't want to so Alana wants to make sure that mom's with the good guys, I think what she's saying. And then if she, if we go to dinner, she wants to know I'm a good guy, not a bad guy. But I guess I'm a little bit perturbed. Why does she think I'd be a bad guy? If I'm Ric Flair and I'm wooing, then when you meet me, I'm going to be Ric Flair and wooing. Okay, cool. I thought that was the case. So yeah, I agree, Professor. Just go there, show her a good time, and when you make a move, you will get the answer. It's super easy. So at least you'll find out. Oh, she's already, she wants me as much as I want her. So I'm not worried when I'm there about laying smackdown. I'm not even concerned about that. Only Carmen did that to me. Carmen didn't want me to see her naked. I was like, what the fuck is this? Carmen. Yeah, I'm taking you on all these trips. No, I'm not weaponizing, saying I'll take you on the trip if we can lay the smackdown, but I would have expected it. Then what are you doing here? Why are we in Paris? Or we went to south of France and Monte Carlo, the real Monte Carlo, and then we went to Switzerland and Austria. What do you think I'm doing, taking you on vacation so we can just chat? I was like, well, I don't need a friend. I got Bobby Bo to talk to. I don't need Carmen to just sit there and have drinks with. Yeah, styling and profiling like that. Yeah, I'll be wooing. Well, you'll hear me wooing there. I've had buddies that have talked to girls for many months and then got the cheek on a kiss and shirt like that. Yes. Yeah, Carmen tried to pull a fast one, but they don't work on INFJs. Well, she kept wanting money. And then when I say no, she'd go, well, you're going to be all alone and nobody's going to love you. And I go, well, how about Jenna and Daria? Like, well, I am a stoic and an IFJ. I have more than one girlfriend. That's the part she doesn't get. And so with Daria, yeah, I mean, she wants us to be together. I think she got a little bit scared. Like initially she wanted to come here and live. She wanted to live with me here and bring the daughter. And I think she got scared. And I think she's like, well, I'd rather can you come here instead of me going there? And I said, yeah, I don't care. I'm alone, so I can go wherever, take my computer and teach from there and do my football, and I'll watch Netflix. Because the problem with Russia or Ukraine, if you ever go there, Bobby, is you turn on the TV, it's all Russian, and you're sitting there going, I have no idea what they're talking about. And so you bring your computer and you watch Netflix, which has a lot better movies in Europe, and you can watch them there, and at least you can see American TV, or at least they talk American. So with Jenna, it's different. She speaks pretty good English. Daria, I don't know how good her English is, but we'll have the old translator. Where do you want to go for dinner? And then she'll read it and go, oh, okay. But I'll just do this when it's time for dinner or lunch. I'll do that. And I don't care where we stay, but I said if we go to a hotel, I'm only going to stay a week. If I'm staying with you at the apartment, I can stay really up to 3 months, but I think the first time I would just stay for a month. I don't want to overstay my welcome and get bored. I mean, because here I do the same, I teach, I go to the pool, I cook, I can cook there, but I got to go buy the ingredients. I got to go buy my avocados and somehow figure out how to pay for it and hope my credit card works. And then have enough money in my checking account to cover my debit card or to pay my credit card bills. Although the good thing about Social Security, it would still hit my checking account. This is, you can be overseas, it doesn't matter. So every month I will get my Social Security, and it'd be fine if I was there. If I get rid of my rent, that's most of my Social Security problem. That's 3/4 of it. Well, that opens that up, and then I'm thinking, well, if I'm there, I can sell my car and get about 15 grand for it, and don't need to buy a new car. Or I don't know what I would do. I don't know if you start. I don't know what to do with my safe full of cards and gold and silver. I cannot take that on an airplane. So I can see putting the gold like it'll be in the bag and then it'll be in my shirt. I'll be sleeping like this on the plane, but I'll have to get a safe. I mean, not that I don't trust Daria, but they got friends coming over. If they smell gold, man, ain't going to sit there long. The mafia will be there. So we'll have to figure out a way to lock it up or hide it or something. I've been turned down too. It's happened to every man at some point. Most guys just don't like to admit it, which is why they settle with just anything in front of them. Well, I agree. They're not stoic. That's what not stoic is. They'll just settle. Yeah, I'm sure once she gets to know you, she'll say, oh, forget the hotel. You can stay at my place and the fresher will show them who's boss. Well, I'll always be nice to them and treat them with love and respect. That's why I'm like surprised. But yeah, I mean, if I have to, we can spend the first few days in a hotel, and then she can be assured I'm nice because the daughter's right. I mean, if I'm gonna stay at the apartment, the daughter's gonna be shy and who are you and can I trust you? But if the mother says no, you can trust him, he's fine, then she'll let her guard down a little bit more, and I take them for ice cream and pizza and teach them about gold and silver. So that's what being stoic is, Bobby Bo, is exactly what you're saying. The non-stoic people settle because they chase the girl. The stoic people don't chase the girl. Dario wants me to come. There's a big difference in me saying, oh, can I meet you? And then them asking you to come. She's asking me to come. She wants to be with me. Believe me, we'll be laying the smack down. I mean, I'm not even concerned, but the guys you're talking about could have been a financial thing. So let's say it's Carmen and she says, I need money. And so you give them money and she has no intention of sleeping with you. Her intentions are to get money. Now here's how stoic I am with Carmen. So I'm going to show you Carmen, beautiful girl. So here's Carmen. I'll show you a picture without. Without her glasses. So there's Carmen. Beautiful girl. She's actually a model. And of course, I'll show you the pictures where I'm with her. So that's us in Romania. God, what's with my teeth? And here's us in Vegas. This is the Wynn Hotel, has that waterfall. And here we're at Caesars. She likes the way I take the pictures, but always poses. And here's us at the Bellagio. She actually switched glasses and she had a white skirt on and she changed to the red skirt. And then she has glasses. She changed glasses. You can see she's a model. You can see the way she poses. And she laughed at all the American girls. She said, what are they, crazy the way they dress? And, they don't wear makeup. And, and then she made a comment to me. She said, well, you get to walk with a beautiful girl. And I said, that's not why I'm with you, Carmen. I don't need a beautiful girl. It keeps away the other girls, right? So I want you as my friend, my girlfriend, not so I can walk down the strip and you're at my side and people can see me with a beautiful girl. I'm not a loser. I don't need to walk down with you. I said, I'm fine by myself. I get a lot of compliments. So I don't really need you to whatever that means to have to walk next to a beautiful girl. No, I mean, well, that's why. So your last comment about forget the hotel. Daria's known me for 5 or 6 years, and the last 3 on WhatsApp. And she knows I'm nice. She knows I love her. When I said, let's meet, where should I get a hotel? She said, no, just meet with me, but I do live with my daughter. And I says, oh, you don't mind? I don't mind. She'll say, oh yeah, I want you. I want to be with you. I love you. So I don't think that's why my gut instinct on the whole thing from last week was something doesn't make sense. And I think she was scared to meet because we hadn't met head to head or face to face yet. We haven't met in real. Jenna, we've met 6, 7 times. She can't wait to meet me again. She knows exactly what she's getting and she loves it. And that's my problem. And she'll want to marry me, and Carmen everybody wants to marry me because I'm such a nice, very respectable guy, and I got gold. So I got all the prerequisites. So I got to be careful. I got to meet Daria before I make a decision. But Jenna's problem is she won't come here, and I can't go there because of the war. The difference is Daria's on the other side. Nobody's shooting into St. Pete, and it's a very beautiful city. It actually is. So from that standpoint, I can go to Russia easier because I'm not going to be fired on. And if I go to the Ukraine, not only is there no airport, I would have to land in Poland and take a 20-hour train ride and hope I get off at the right stop. And I don't know, who knows if I got to sit on the floor or my back would kill me. Where Russia, I can't fly in unless I come from Turkey. So that's why I'm not sure if I can get the visa. And that's why I've suggested let's meet in Turkey. You can fly there and I can fly there. We'll get a nice hotel. We'll spend a week or so there. And then we'll have that face-to-face meeting, and then we can go from there. So that's what I was trying to do, is get the face-to-face. But I think she's pretty ready. Now the question is, what do you want me to do? And I said, I looked at the visas. They're $160. I can get a personal visa where I'm seeing her for 90 days, or I can get a regular travel visa for 30 days or a work visa, which I'm not going to work there. Well, I guess I could say I'm doing the Teaser King show, but I could do that. So Tucker Carlson probably got a work visa, and and so mine would be just a travel visa to see my friend. And so, I don't know. I guess for that purpose, I don't think I'd have a problem. I would just have to make sure there's a flight to Turkey and from Turkey to St. Pete, which I'm sure there are. Her mother came and visited her that way. So that's where I'm looking for. So that's why I'm a little surprised. I think she said I told the daughter, and I think the daughter was afraid if I lived there, if I stayed at the apartment, what if I'm not a good guy? And she probably was talking to her little girlfriends who probably said, oh, well, my aunt had met an American and he was an asshole, and just be careful. So that's probably the scareness of Daria being shy is the same probably as the daughter. So that's probably all it is I just want to make sure you are what you say you are. I can teach class from Vega. I can teach class from Russia. I have taught class on all my trips. I teach class. When I was in Barcelona and Lisbon, I was on. It was like, I don't know. I think it was like in the evening. I think one of them, Jenna, was with her girlfriend, Natasha. So I said, okay, I'll teach. My back was killing me. And I know in Barcelona I did. I know in Portugal I did. And I think she went down for a cigarette break or something. And see, me and Jenna are good. She'll go down for a cigarette break or she'll talk to her kids. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'll put a movie on or I'll teach class and I'll just take a hot tub or something, relax. So anyway, that's what's good. Economics Live from Vegas. That can be for the work visa. Well, this is going to Russia, not Vegas. I don't need a visa to go to Vegas. Teaching about metals is a lot more valuable than Tucker Carlson's BS. Yeah, I agree with that. And he didn't ask Putin about gold, which I thought was critical. But this is why I show you these other people like Lynette Zing and whoever the fuck this guy was. You need to understand sort of the right and the wrong. It's like when they talk about football, right? And then there'll be, I hate CBS. They have like 62 guys. Oh, here's Bill Cowher. He's still called coach. He used to coach 50 years ago. And look, Mean Joe Green's on the kit. Oh, and Boomer Esiason. And they all put in their 2 cents of who's going to win. And guess what? Who gives a fuck? Do any of them know? Can any of them analyze? No, they can't. And that's the problem. So here you're listening, and that's why I get these comments from some of our classmates who go, well, what do you think of this prop bet on Old McDonald having a cow? And you're like, where are you getting this shit from? Well, they're probably listening to BetMGM or the Coach Cowher or Terry Bradshaw, and they're all doing betting. But God forbid if the player bets, oh my God. But we're going to talk about it in the pre-show. And by the way, our sponsor is a gambler, is FanDuel or whatever. So this is why I want to warn you, because I know you're blank when it comes to economics. I'm filling in the canvas with you, going, this is what we need to look for. Brics and the dollar's collapsing, and buy gold. And have I ever said this is collapsing? I mean, that's it. So that's what I want in your mind, is what's happening and why. Have I ever said gold is an insurance policy? And have I ever said, it only goes up when there's a recession or when interest rates go up? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's what I don't understand from these guys. They think gold. They don't realize it's money. They don't realize the value is versus the dollar. So they're missing the whole concept that the dollar is losing value. And that's what I tried to show you on my prices thing the other day. Where is it? I don't know. I wrote all these prices down. Here it is. So when I talk about prices, oh no, that's the Georgia defense. I wrote all the Georgia defense down, and they all got drafted, and I was like following them. So where did I put these prices? Anyway, so let's say Pepsi was a dime, is now $2.50. And you'll think it's a price increase. And the thing that I'm trying to hammer home is it's not a price increase. Oh, here it is. Okay. So a house was $25,000, now costs $475. But was that a 2-bedroom house in 71, a 3-bedroom house? Is it Tom Brady's house now? Is not $475. So as we look, Wendy's was 55 cents, is now $5. Did Wendy's hamburger go up in price? No, it didn't. The dollar got weaker. And that's what these idiots don't really understand. I'm not sure they understand what inflation is of printing the dollars. I think they think it's related on prices year to year. And then I'm sure Lynette Zhang does not understand what hyperinflation is. It's when prices go up continually. So you go to Kroger's this morning and bread's $3, and then you go back at noon and it's $4, and you go tonight it's $6. Then tomorrow morning bread's now $9, and then it goes to $12. That's hyperinflation. It's a frenzy that the people come to buy it before the price goes up even higher. That's when the dollar's lost all. That's it. The hope's done. When you see that, run to the gold store, buy the gold as quick as you can. That's the sign. That's the checkered flag. There we go. We're at the end. Bobby Bow. They're wrong about 90% of the time. Yes, they are, but that's what I want you to understand. If you've gotten to the point that you realize Lynette Zhang and this idiot are idiots, and they don't know what they're talking about, that's what I'm trying to prove. It's like a proof, right? We're right, they're wrong, but I have to prove they're wrong. I can prove we're right, which I do pretty much every day. But to prove they're wrong is what I'm trying to do. So as you can see, silver went from $1.50 to $25. Silver didn't go up in price. The dollar dropped. Dollar dropped in gold. It took $37 to buy gold. It's now $20.50. And Bobby, I think I showed you gold today. So gold today is up $5. It's back at 2018. And our little 10 o'clock drop, like every day, and silver's at 23. And so you're getting frustrated, but it's the buying of the century that you can have. So you see gold 2018. Where did that price came from? Came from COMEX, came from derivatives. It came from whoever is buying it to knock the price up, which I believe are the casinos, as Mark McGuire would say, that nobody knows what the fuck he's talking about. But there's got to be two pieces. The derivatives drive the price down, and then I guess the casinos buy it and they raise the price. It's not nothing to do with the central banks buying it, because these idiots don't understand it's not supply demand economics. It's not, oh, Mahomes won the Super Bowl, the card just went up in value, because if I put it on auction, I'll get more for it, right? Because that's a free market. I put it on auction, there's a buyer. That's a market. Me and Bobby, me and you could go buy 10 ounces of gold right now and it wouldn't affect the price. The price could actually go down because it's not looking at us buying it. It's looking at what COMEX, the buyer from JP Morgan's doing, selling a derivative, knocking the price down. But if there's people there buying it, which I think are the casinos or the Chinese and the Russians, I think it's more the Chinese and the Russians now. So I think when the derivative guys lower it, the Chinese are going, okay, I'm going to buy it. And they have to sell it to them. And they have to have the gold, the coins to back it up. Did these idiots ever talk about that? This guy and Lynette Zhang? No, they don't talk about it. Maloney? No. Andy Scheckman? No. Peter Schiff? Doesn't even know what gold is. Do they tell you about it? No. But we do hear about it from Alligator and a little bit from Egon, our man. So that's really the point of it, is they're not explaining the derivative dip and then China buying the dip. So what happens is the JP Morgan sells a derivative, lowering the price of gold. And China, on the other hand, I'll buy it. You're going to lower that price to $20 or 2010. I want 1,000 ounces. And the guy doing the derivative has to come up with the 1,000 ounces, because the new rules from Basel said you have to have the gold to boot the derivative, because they were doing 100 ounces and they were doing, well, we're going to sell 50,000 ounces of gold and only have 100 ounces. So now they can't do that. So that's why you don't see the price drop, which is what changes the variable, which is what makes time travel possible, as we all know. So that's the problem. As they do these shorts, China's there buying them, and India's there buying them, and Brics is there buying them. And that's what they're doing. They're buying that off of the market. And now they must give them the gold. And that's where it's going to blow up. Is there's not enough gold left. China's bought in so much, right? 60,000 tons. And they still know we got to buy more. That's what I keep telling. But I tell Luke, how much should I buy? As much as you can until you fill your house up, because it's the deal of the century. You're buying this piece of gold. Pretend I love the Caesars logo here. Let's say this is gold. You're buying a $20,000 ounce of gold for $2,000. You're buying, and I love the Stardust, you're buying a $2,000 ounce of silver for $25. Now, I'm not saying tomorrow it'll be 2020, but it's headed there. And that's what I keep trying to incorporate. And that's what differentiates me from these other idiots. They're, well, this guy, well, it might hit 2,200, or if it goes up 10%, it'll be 2,200. You're clueless. Where are you pulling that? See, where are you pulling that number 10% from? Do you even know? It's just pulled out of thin air. You don't have a fucking clue. Why are you opening your mouth? This is my point. You don't know what you're talking about. And people listening to you, you're driving them away from gold. Well, if it's only going to go to 2,200, I'm not going to buy it. You don't know that. You don't even understand bricks and paper, and you're not explaining bricks and paper. What the fuck are you doing on doing a show when you don't have a fucking clue what you're doing? By the way, about to put the pita on the pan to have the peanut. I've been doing that. I think of Joe Black. So he bought the peanut butter after we talk. I go, yeah, sounds good, Bobby Bo. And then I don't even do it. I just take it and I get a plate out and I got the pita and on my way to swim. And then I'll take the peanut butter and I'll eat it in the car on the way to the pool for breakfast. Hey, TK, Greg and Don, how are you? Yeah, I do like peanut butter. Vamp time, yeah. Dracula's with us. Bobby called you Greta. Let's call him Dracula. Hi, Bobby, brother. You awesome talent. Oh, now you're kissing Bobby's ass. That's not stoic, Greg John. My buddy professor got me into that peanut butter pitas combo. Yeah, isn't it very good, Bobby Bo? Don't let him kiss your ass, Bobby Bo. It's going to go to your head. Now you're going to think you're an awesome talent. But anyway, so that's what we can explain why gold's going to 20,000. Because we know that 2,000 isn't close to real value. 2,000 is the COMEX derivative price. And we know what do they do? They keep the price down. That's why I'm saying it's much higher, because they're not trying to get the price up. They're trying to get the price down, which is like as stupid as De Beers is. De Beers is sitting there with a monopoly on diamonds, which is the stupidest monopoly I've ever seen in my life. They're a bunch of fucking idiots. Okay, I buy a diamond. Maybe the super rich buy a diamond, and maybe, the rest of us buy it, for weddings. And okay, that's fine, but that's it. That's the whole problem with it, is that there's no market for diamonds outside of weddings, basically, unless you're, Bill Gates or Warren Buffett or somebody, and you want to buy your girlfriend a diamond necklace just to have, but there's really no demand for it. That's like buying a Ferrari. There's really no demand. People are actually going to buy a Ferrari, can actually use the Ferrari and go 400 miles an hour. That's a nice look, but otherwise, I don't know. And so that's the point. It's a stupid thing. So why aren't COMEX switching and making gold go up instead of down? So in other words, if they had any intelligence, they would buy all the gold they can, and they do the derivatives the other way, where we're going to force the price up, and then they would be golden. But I don't know why they think that this won't go out. They think you can print and print and print and nothing will happen. They're fucking idiots. I mean, that's just basic. That's not even economics. That's just basic. Like, if you have 5 steaks, you're not going to want steak anymore. So it's the dollar is going, you can't print it to death, right? You should know that. And that's the problem. I like bonds better, though. That's why Barry got all the good pitches, because they saw me on deck and started shaking their cleats. After the pita, I get some dark chocolate squares. That's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you just have your water with ginger and cinnamon, like the professor. So the big brown is the cinnamon. It's a cinnamon stick, and then that's ginger. I don't know how quick to change them out. And then I squeeze a lemon in there for flavor, and off I go. Yeah, that's what I got, 90% cocoa. The best place to buy it's at Walmart. They have Swiss $1.90 for only like $1. I think it went up to $2.18. But if I go to the grocery store to get the other brands, they're like $3.50 now. And then I do see some where the Cadbury, whatever, they're like $3.50. But if you buy the second one, it's half off. So then it's really $1.70. So it's really $5. So it really lowers the price to $2.50. So yeah, we got inflation. So we know inflation's much higher than 3%. They'll tell you 3 because they don't want to make themselves look like idiots. So if I told you to bet, here's the Super Bowl, bet on Frisco, and Mahomes wins, I look like an idiot. Well, why would you bet against Mahomes? So I would redirect it going, I don't know how I could do that with football, but they try to blame Putin or blame somebody else. They don't want to take the blame and look like idiots that they are. But it's just like the guy on the YouTube. You've got to understand he's not telling you the truth and he's an idiot. But you got to know that's why you have to understand what I'm teaching. Then you can say, yeah, this guy's an idiot. How many you eat a day? I don't want to overdo it. The pitas, just usually I might have 2. It depends. Like if I'm running out to the pool today, I grab 1 and then I'll have dessert or I'll have dinner and I'll put 1 with it. I tried those pork ribs. They were terrible. I had to throw them out. They just didn't taste good. These were, I don't know what kind of rib. That's why I buy the beef ribs. They're just got a better, cow's better than pork, I guess. The only pork I really enjoy is bacon, but these pork ribs I broiled them and they tasted terrible. And they were so fat. It was so much fat with them that, I out of this big thing, about this much was fat. I mean, I'm cutting all the fat. I take 3 bites. So I won't make that mistake again. I read that dark chocolate is also an appetite suppressant, so holds off hunger longer. It's just like all the idiots picking Lamar over Mahomes. Well, exactly. I meant how many dark chocolate? 4 squares. 4 squares of dark chocolate. Well, the appetite suppressant, you really don't need it. You just avoid the things that give you the appetite, like Fritos, like chips. Why do you think you eat the whole bag of chips? There's something in the formula that makes you hungry. As the same thing with pop. Why do you drink the whole 2-liter of Coke or Diet Coke? Because it's just something in it as you drink it that says, drink some more, drink some more. So pop and chocolate, regular chocolate, cookies, all the sweet stuff, you can see it makes you keep eating it and eating it, and then you crave it the next day. So if you just have your veggies and you have a steak, a normal steak or normal chicken or burgers, and avoid the carb stuff, you don't get hungry. That's why I don't know about the suppression as much as just avoid the Cheerios and the Fritos and the Pepsi, and you'll be fine. You won't have the hunger cravings that those things give you. And that's what's happening. I got to delete something from there. I'm thinking. Some of the stuff I'm like deleting, going, it doesn't serve a purpose. I think at the end of the day, she just wants to make sure I'm what I seem. Yes, I'm doing too much worrying about why does Alana think that. All right. Yeah, sometimes you out of like what's Alana worried about the daughter, and then I'm like, nah, I want to stay stoic. I don't need to ask that question. I'm sure she's just, as we discussed, a little bit nervous, but it bothers me, so I want to delete it. So yeah, I mean that's what happens is you don't know, and they'll talk, or Tucker Carlson or these gold guys, and they're not truthful with you. Like inflation. Oh, inflation's 3%. And you're supposed to believe them, and you're supposed to relax. And I've just proven that a car went from 4,000 to 35, a house from 25 to 475, gold from 37 to 2050, silver $1.50 to 25, Pepsi 10 cents to 250, and Wendy's 55 cents to $5. None of them are equal. They're not all 60%, right? So they're all over the place. So we're just going to take the average and say, oh, so what they're doing is they're just taking things that add up to 3%, and they're throwing out why isn't gold in the equation? Gold's roughly 5,500% return on investment. If you bought it in 71 at $37, and now today it's at 2050, 5,000%. That's higher than anything. Do you think that's in their inflation thing? No, that's probably the only thing that should be, but it's not at that. I had question a few. It bothered me that where's this coming from, that you want to meet me and then tell the daughter, so the daughter's comfortable, that I'm really a nice guy. And so I kind of said I'm a little bothered by it in on WhatsApp. And I said, no, you know what? After talking to you guys, I really don't need to question that. She just wants to make sure I am what I appear to be. And I'm thinking, yeah, we all go through that. So I deleted it because I don't want Daria to read it and worry about it. So I just deleted it. And then I'll just say, look, tell Alina everything's fine. I'm very nice. I just kind of stoiced it and said, look, I'm very nice. She'll be fine, but we can meet first if you want. So I assume what we'll do is we'll go to the hotel for a night or two. Then she'll go from there, and then she'll tell the daughter, yeah, he's fine. Yeah, I'm always loving and respectful. I mean, I think that's the way you treat everybody. I don't know why you wouldn't. That's why I really hate work. The manager, for some reason, thinks that he has this power over you, like at that tool house place. That was just the joke that didn't have a computer. And the manager's like, what do I do with you? I go, well, I got a fucking master's in finance and economics. Can't you think of what you should do with me? He wanted me to do labor studies. I go, I don't know how to do that. I've never been asked to do that. Why would you have me do that? It's not important here. We can just estimate the labor. We don't need the actual. We can just be close. How much is it going to be? I mean, the labor is cheap enough. But he didn't know what to do with me. But it was the fact he tried to like boss me, and I'm like, who the fuck are you? I got a master's. You don't. Who are you? Why are you talking to me like this? He was very insulting to me. So, I mean, that's my problem. I am normally getting, pissed on by that and the guy at Toyota, the yelling treasury guy. So that goes back to why do they think because you work there, that they have power over you because of their position, which they don't. You're there to fulfill your job, to do finance, not you have no power over me. You need me. That's why you hired me. And if you don't need me, I'll go somewhere else. In the meantime, pay me so I can buy my gold. That's the only place where the guy listened to me. And I took him to the gold store and I told him about gold, and he bought $100,000 worth of gold. And I was so like, cool, somebody's actually listening and he's about to be really rich. So I'm happy for him. Bobby Bo, then if an employee stands up for themselves, they fire them. Well, that's the problem. So in your situation, you were a Gold Glove outfielder, hit 300. You're not easily replaceable. So where do they think they have the right to tell you some things when they need you? They need a good hitting outfielder. So why do they think they can talk down to you or talk any negative to you? That's ridiculous. They need you. It's a two-way street. We need an outfielder. Here's Bobby Bo. Okay, so then it's a happy marriage. They should respect you because they need you, and you should respect them because they're paying you. That's Say's law, basically. And it's Adam Smith. You have built a skill in the division of labor which says I'm an outfielder and they need an outfielder. So it's a perfect fit. And then you work out the money based on what other outfielders get that hit where you hit, and you walk away. And that's what it's supposed to be. But where do they think they have power over you? Because they pay you? The only reason they pay you is a medium of exchange. How else are they going to get your skill set? They could pay you in Canadian Club or Mahomes card, just the same. They could give you Mahomes and Mantle cards and saying, look, Bobby, here's how I'm going to pay you. And that's why I'm telling you that you need to get paid in gold and silver, because when they keep paying you in this shit and it's worthless, you need to buy gold with it as soon as you can, because it's because they're going to give you zero, right? You're going to get zero because it's not worth anything. So that's why I say, tell them you want gold. But in the meantime, this is why I kind of laugh at all the athletes, like take LeBron. I mean, he's got all this fake money. You think he's got any gold? Who would tell him to buy gold? He's not going to listen to anybody. He knows more than everybody else. So that's the problem with these guys. They got all this money, but they don't realize, I got $100 million. Yeah, it's in dollars. Oh, so you basically have zero. And they're going to cry the worst when their money goes to zero. Now it's going to take a while. And what'll probably happen is they'll run to buy gold, right? They'll talk to Bobby Bo and say, wait a minute, what do I do here? And then you say you go buy gold and silver, and then they're going to want to buy $100 million worth. And that's when the price goes to the moon. And that's when I hit the 50,000 we talk about, because that I know is what's going to happen. There's too many people with money, and they can't control that it's going to keep its value. You hit the iceberg. It's going to sink. The water is coming in the boat. You can't make it stop. This is being printed to death. There's nothing you can do. You've got a $35 trillion debt that you owe interest on to other countries. There's nothing you can do. It's going to sink. So you either get off into the gold boat or you sink. You either get out of the dollar or you sink. And gold is not an insurance policy. Gold is real money that is being sheltered and Ponzi schemed away by JP Morgan, so you think it doesn't have a value. It's got a far greater value than anybody's giving it credit, because they're too stupid to realize what they're talking about is paper gold and what we're talking about is physical gold. People won't learn until it's too late. Then they're going to ask me for silver and laugh. No, you're going to sell it to them. The silver price is going to be $2,000 an ounce, Bobby Bo. You're not going to sell it to them at 25. You're going to sell it to them at 2,000 or 3,000, depending on that. But you don't even want to do that. What Bobby Bo is going to do when gold hits, let's say 30,000, and silver goes to 3 because it'll be 1/10. You're going to take 10 of your little ounces that you paid $25 for, and you're going to cash it in for a gold ounce. So you're going to turn 10 25s or $250, and you're going to buy a $30,000 ounce of gold. So you're going to turn $250 into $30,000 with no risk. Sounds pretty good to me. And don't kid yourself, gold's going there. Don't kid yourself that the dollar is going to stick around with a $35 trillion debt. How the fuck's that going to happen? You can't keep printing it. You keep printing it, there is no value to it. There already is no value to it. So you can play the game a little bit, but eventually the Germans and the Japanese and the Chinese and the Swiss and the people in Zimbabwe and Africa and Saudi Arabia and Dubai are going to say, we don't want the dollar. We're going to sell all our stocks. I heard it yesterday, Egypt. We're not taking the dollar in the transactions anymore. They're going ruble, or they're going Brics. Add another country not taking the dollar. That kills the value. Who would want the dollar and who would buy a T-bill how are you going to get paid back for it? What, are you kidding me? Hey, Real D. Appreciate you, TK, for your knowledge. Thank you, sir. I truly see that America is just a business. Everything is about money, including our court system. Well, it's a very, very corrupt country. That's why I'm thinking of, going to Daria in Russia. I think I have a better chance there. I think the taxes are much cheaper. The dollar is going to be backed by gold. And Putin really, if you stay out of his way and don't run for office, you're probably fine. You probably have less crime there because, they got the mafia keeping it safe. So I'm not sure it's not safer than here. I don't know. I don't know everything about it. Like I said, I go on a vacation. I'll be sitting with Daria, but I see what's going to happen here. It's extremely corrupt. And then you hear these politicians, Mayorkas, letting everybody in at the border. And then they give the people at the border, here's a debit card for $2,000 for the month. And if you need formula or medical, and we'll put you up at the hotel. Imagine being in New York City now. Well, we're going to put you at the Roosevelt Hotel. Who's paying that bill? It ain't the guy. And then they get $2,000 to eat. For what? So again, that's all going to collapse here's what's happening, right? As the dollar goes, here comes gold and silver. Well, what's going to happen to all these terrorists that are entering the country illegally through the border? What are they going to do for food? They can't use their debit cards because the dollar won't be worth anything. So now they need gold and silver. So what are they going to do? Rob the gold and silver stores if they aren't already? And the bigger question I have, did you see the video where these immigrants or whoever from wherever, Latin America, came in, they beat up the cop in New York? Why was there one cop and not two? Why was he letting them beat up? Why didn't he pull out his gun and said, get the fuck away from me? Which most of us, if I was a cop, I would be trained in the gun. And I would see the problem and I would pull my gun out and say, leave me the fuck alone. But he didn't. Was he really a cop? Was he in costume so they looked good doing it? Was it a real cop that just sat there like an idiot and let him beat him up and had no partner around? And Batman wasn't around to help either. Does that make any sense to anybody, or is it just me? Well, where was his partner, and why did he let him beat him up? Why didn't he pull his gun? Shoot him in the leg. Fuck it. So, yeah, Bobby Ball, they'll be the last gun. Well, like I said, they'll ask you for silver, but your price is going to be $2,000, not $25,000. When that silver price goes, see, when we say 50,000 gold and 3,000 silver, well, actually it'd be 5,000 silver. When we say this, people don't believe us. They didn't believe us that KC was going to beat Baltimore, KC was going to beat Buffalo, or KC was going to beat San Francisco because of Mahomes. Think of gold as Mahomes. You got gold, you got Mahomes. you're a winner. You're going to be fine. And people don't understand that. They don't believe it because they haven't seen it, because they don't understand it. They don't understand COMEX has kept the price of gold down since 1972. And it's still got to 2050. That's how badly the value of the dollar's dropped, that it's $2,050 for $37 an ounce gold. That is a problem. But we know the price is much higher because we know the derivatives are keeping it down, and there's really no physical market, and this is the price of paper gold. So it's got to be much, much higher than $2,050. So we know that. So the more you can go to the gold store and buy it at 2,000, let's call it 2,100, you know, they're going to at the premium, and even their premium's a joke. The premium's not anywhere near close to what it should be. Like I said, I walked in there and I got the 1/10 of an ounce and 4 silvers just to buy something. And I'm dancing out to the car and, you know, like $26 an ounce silver and $230 for a 1/10 of an ounce gold at, you know, at 20,000, it'll be worth 2,000-3,000 a piece. I got it for 231. But it's not a barter instrument. It'll be the money. It'll be, so you first of all got to understand a medium of exchange, which means this is what you work for and this is what you use to buy things. So we use this. It used to be what? Tulips in Amsterdam. It used to be cows. It used to be seashells or whatever. It was whatever would work that people would accept to buy. People gave cows value. You give me a cow, I'll give you an apple. And people would get that. This is the most convenient. You put it in your pocket, and you can put a 1 on it and a 5 and a 10. You can keep score with it. So all that happens is this is no longer value, just like tulips. Tulips went out. What happened? Okay, we go to something else. So think of this as a tulip. It's going out, and then out pops gold and silver. And now you got the gold as the medium, as I get paid in it and I use it to spend. It's not hard. It's the same. It's the concept that's the same, right? The concept is medium of exchange. The concept is something that I can use to get paid with and buy things. And that's the medium of exchange. So if you understand that, then you understand everything. You know, that's what you need to understand, is they're just going to replace the dollar with gold, and they won't give you gold. They'll give you dollars. They'll give you this, and it'll be like gold certificates, and it'll have the gold strip, and it'll say this is redeemable for 5 ounces of gold or 5 grams of gold, or, you know, a 1/4 ounce or a 1/10 of an ounce or something like that. That's what it'll be. And that's how you'll carry your gold, will be like the dollar. The difference is you can't print the gold to nothing. You can't print it. That's why you use gold, but you can't have wars if you have gold, because you can't expand your dollars. Although I thought you could if you just raised the price of gold, which everybody's scared to do for some reason, which I don't have any idea why. It doesn't matter. The gold's worth 1,000 or 10,000. That's what it's worth. If the Mahomes card goes from 5 grand, he wins the Super Bowl, now 3 of them, and now it's worth 10 grand, what's the difference? So the asset grew in value because more demand. Well, why can't gold go up in price? If there's more demand because the dollars are going out, wouldn't that raise the price of gold like any other asset? This is what I don't understand, especially from Alligator. It's not gold going up, it's the dollar going down. Well, the dollar's down to nothing. So the dollar can't go any lower. So you're not realizing COMEX is keeping the price down. Therefore, when COMEX blows up, then the gold value goes up based on demand, based on 4 billion people who are all over the world in the fiat currencies, the euros and the dollars, who are sitting there going, oh, fuck, we got to get out of these. They don't have a value. Oh, shit, there's nothing out there to buy except gold and silver. And then you get the frenzy in the gold and silver. And that's where I get the value. But it won't even be there because the dollar won't have value. So gold will be 1,000 for for 20 minutes, and then it'll be, oh shit, there is no dollar anymore. Oh, gold now buys a $500,000 house. That's what will happen. That'll be your medium of exchange. It won't be a barter. This is barters going into the grocery store with this, saying, I want milk and eggs. Okay, we'll exchange. That's what barter is. Barter is not using silver and gold. How is that barter? That's money. Excuse me. So, with that said, you got to be careful listening to these idiots on YouTube. I do it just to see if I'm picking up anything. This is cool. I'm seeing little fireworks from that sneeze. I'm on a cartoon or something. It's kind of wild. Like the Roadrunner or something. I'm seeing sparks. So the point is, I'm listening to see if we can gain anything. Is there anything new I can give you? But no, it's after 5 minutes of realizing the guy's still talking about paper gold or paper silver, you realize, no, this idiot doesn't know anything either. And then it becomes another thumbs again. Oh, where'd you find this idiot? Like the guy, if you watched Mark McGuire last Friday, I don't know where they found him, what rock he crawled under from. He had no idea. He had never been on TV. He apparently wrote a book that I wouldn't read in a million if he gave it to me. He gave me $100 to read it. I don't think I'd read it. Something on silver. And again, if you don't understand paper and COMEX, you can't, then how do you explain the prices? And you think there's demand. It's such apples and oranges. The demand for this card is because he just won his third fucking Super Bowl. The demand for this card is low because he sat there and did steroids. So there's no demand. Great demand, no demand. Great price, low price. That's what it is in the physical world. In the derivative world, it doesn't matter. If we all went and bought 100 ounces of silver tomorrow, it wouldn't matter. The price of silver would not go up. And if we sold all our silver tomorrow, the price would not go down. That's controlled by COMEX. And they run derivatives. They're selling 1 million ounces of silver, of which they only have 100. How can you sell silver you don't have? Isn't that illegal? Fuck yes, but JP Morgan and Jamie Dimon do it anyway. Madoff's a Ponzi scheme. Well, yeah, technically we didn't invest the money, but you know what? I keep getting money in. I can pay you out. And you're like, fine, I don't care. As long as I see my $1,000 a month, I don't care how you get it. And with silver, I mean, nobody's getting rich off of it because they keep betting it to go down. So I don't even understand the concept of the Ponzi scheme they're doing. Why would you want the price of silver to go down? Who's benefiting from that? The only people that can be are the people that use it in phones and Tesla and in the electric batteries and stuff. They're the only ones benefiting from it. But who cares? That's not why you keep a price. So there's no benefit in silver being cheap. And I would imagine China, and I know India has bought silver like it's water. So they see the value in silver. So again, these are the ones buying it. So they keep doing derivatives to keep the price down, and China and India keep buying it and going, thank you. So I think China's behind COMEX to keep the price down so they can keep buying. And once it goes to a gold-backed currency, you won't see COMEX keeping the price down anymore. I'm sure they pay for it. I'm sure they pay JP Morgan to keep the price down. Here's 5 million, keep that price down, and we're going to buy all your gold and silver. That's the Ponzi scheme that we're in and hoping to break with the Brics countries going, right? That's our keys, get the Brics countries using a gold-backed currency, forces the price of gold up, and COMEX, if they need $10,000 gold, what are you going to do with Brics? Or what are you going to do with Comex? Oh, well, we're JP Morgan. We're going to sell silver at 25 an ounce. Well, yeah, but Brics is selling it at 1,000 an ounce. That's what they marked it at because they need it for their currency. So how can you sell? Why would you sell it at 25 when they're selling it at 2,000 or 1,000? So then Comex goes out because nobody in their right mind is going to sell to Comex. They're all going to, go with what Brics is selling it for, which is 2,000 or 20,000 gold or whatever it is. So keep that in mind. Yeah, we're waiting for Brics, and yeah, it's going to happen. It seems closer and closer. This war is a total joke. The money going to Ukraine is a total Ponzi scheme. It goes nothing to Ukraine. They send it to Zelensky, and he puts it in his house in south of France, and then it comes back to Biden. It's money laundered, and that's it. It's not real. They're not buying equipment, and they're losing 72-0 in the game. So what good is $60 billion, of which it all comes back and lines the pockets of the defense contractors? Not only that, listening to this general, he's saying, or it's colonel, he's saying, we don't even have any weapons anymore. We've depleted our stock, giving it to the Ukraine, so we don't have any more missiles or tanks or jets or whatever, boats, whatever to give. We don't have any more to give. We need to make it, and it takes like a year to make another rocket or another missile or something. Anyway, the game's over there. I mean, it's done. Russia won a long time ago. They just came out and did an Oregon on Colorado. And believe me, Russia does not like America after the sanctions. And believe me, Russia is putting out that gold-backed currency very soon. I keep asking Daria, I go, when, let me know when Putin says gold-backed currency. Then our gold's going to go through the roof. So anyway, that's the gold status. We're just waiting. I think March 1st is going to be something happening. We know it should be the second quarter, we believe, for Russia to have a gold-backed ruble or much more gold for oil and stuff like it, much more use of gold. We know that's coming. We believe in the second quarter, and then Brics in the third quarter is what that's what we've heard from Alligator and Egon and those boys. Mark McGuire said I'll have something March 1st for it. Anyway, that's why I listen to them and don't listen to Larry Moe and Curly on YouTube. It's a fucking joke. Anyway, so that's what's going on. What else? So we've got the NFL draft coming up, as I said. My top five are Bo Nix and Daniels from LSU, 1-2. And then it's Hartman and Penix, 3-4. Then it's Caleb, possibly. I don't know. I don't get a good feeling that he's going to be any good. I think he runs around and he cries. He's a crybaby. U.S. lost a lot of games. I don't know that he's, it's the style of offense makes him look good. You're not going to get that in the NFL. All the Oklahoma quarterbacks, Kyler Murray and Hurts, don't do shit once they blitz them. So I don't know that they're going to be good. Daniels in Penix. I agree with Daniels. I think is going to be very good because he runs, but he's a good quarterback. That's what I thought Jefferson was at Arkansas. He can run, but he was really accurate. So I don't know what happened to him. And this is the problem we face in college football is when these offensive coordinators switch. How the fuck? And I got to keep track of offensive coordinators. So keeping track of where they move Let's add some more work to the professor to pick college games. That's why I wait about 3 weeks, because then whoever their offensive coordinator is, I then don't care. I just see, yeah, they're scoring 50 a game or they're scoring 10 a game. So, yeah, Daniels, though, he's better than Jefferson in the fact they both run a lot similar, but he's actually more accurate. He wasn't that accurate at Arizona State. He wasn't that accurate last year. And then beating Alabama made him much better. That's why I say, like the Lions here, I heard they want to give Goff, what Boomer Esiason said, a 4-year, $50 million contract. Are you out of your mind? Why would you pay a guy like that why is anybody in the NFL making $50 million? I don't understand why it keeps going up. It's 30, it's 35, it's 40, it's 45, it's 50. What the fuck's going on? What's Mahomes going to make $100 million? Or he'll just own the team? I mean, it's ridiculous. Why are you paying these? Now, I can understand Mahomes and Burrows getting it. I don't get Jared Goff getting $50 million. Are you out of your fucking mind, Jared Goff? And, I would let him go, and I would use Hooker. And, how can you say Hooker's no good? Yeah, he got injured, but he's healed. He beat Alabama 50-49. Why do you ignore that fact that, he's I don't know if he's any good. We got Goff. What you should do is what KC did. They signed Spagnolia, and they didn't lose their defensive coordinator, and Andy Reid's their offensive coordinator with Mahomes. And then you've got so why don't the Lions sign their offensive coordinator, give them a bunch more money to keep them, and then go put Hooker in, because I'm sure any quarterback can do well in that system because you got running. And because if you sign Goff, then you're going to let half the team go because you can't afford them, especially the Lions. And you're not going to get these draft picks. You're getting lucky on a few of them. You're not going to keep getting lucky on these draft picks you got. So when you start getting the clunkers, now you got a shit team again, and that's going to be the Lions. What about Drake May, Real D? Hartman and Nix, shake my head, not too sure. Oh, Nix I love. 45 touchdowns, 3 picks, and 5 sacks. Caleb got sacked 50 times, and Prime Jr. got sacked 60 times. He got sacked 5 times. What the fuck? They played UCLA and Oregon, or UCLA, Washington, Oregon State, Washington. There's some pretty good defenses. He got sacked 5 times, and what are we missing on Bo Nix, Bobby Bo? Why do you not think he's good? Hartman for sure is so much better than you think. You're not seeing the Wake Forest results. You're seeing the Notre Dame results with the shitty offensive coordinator who ran the ball too much, and he didn't have his style of offense. Hartman is excellent. I guarantee that. Hartman got embarrassed himself a bit against Louisville. Well, you're still mad at whatchamacallit for losing. What about Drake May, Real D? Drake May, no way. Who did he beat? He played Clemson, got killed. Played NC State, got killed. Barely beat Duke. Duke had a good defense. I'll give him that. Barely beat him, but why Drake May? He didn't have he had 20, I think it was 24-9, which is nothing. When Bo Nix is 45-3, what part of that am I missing? Bo Nix 45-3, Daniels 40-5, and Penix was like 39-7 touchdowns to interceptions. What am I missing there? Why are we not using that as determining the quarterback? I don't want one that turns it over a lot. So I don't buy Drake May. He didn't beat anybody. You have to win. In other words, we get Lamar against Mahomes, and everybody here we bet Mahomes, and Mahomes won because he's a winner and Lamar isn't. At what point is Drake May a winner? Who did he beat? Pittsburgh? Miami? I mean, please. He didn't beat shit. So therefore, why do I think he's a winner? I saw Montana in college, and he looked great at Notre Dame. He was the green jersey in the green jersey game when they killed USC. Mahomes, I don't know what he did in college. He had good stats, but he's, definitely excelled now. Burrow, we've seen Burrow put up 50 a game with LSU against Georgia, against Alabama, against Florida. And then I think he beat Clemson in the final. We know what Burrow can do. What did Drake May do? Drake May didn't do shit. He's going to be like Bryce Young at Carolina. What does he do? He's got a big arm. Well, does he know which team to throw it to? I watched his stats, and Drake May threw a bunch of balls into a crowd, and he had a good receiver who caught a lot of them. The passes should never have been thrown. The guy was not open. So I'm not a Drake May fan. KJ Jefferson will not get drafted at all. He is literally trash in every sense of the word. You got burned by him. He won me a lot of money, but I think he's still playing. I'm not sure. McCartney at Michigan can be good. Oh my God. Where are you getting this from, Real D? Well, McCarthy? Really? What did you see him do? And again, you couldn't see him do a lot because they had no schedule. So you're watching him against what? A BC and Rutgers and Indiana and, Northwestern Nebraska. And he's still all they do. I don't, that doesn't, McCarthy, I wouldn't draft him. I'd maybe blame Gabbard at Kansas City, but I don't see McCarthy's any good. Drake May and KJ Jefferson are bigger jokes than the Gross and Jefferson. Absolutely. Real D, I don't think JJ McCarthy can make it in the NFL. He didn't make it at Michigan. And then never take ACC and Pac-12 seriously. Well, Pac-12 I like. I don't mind them. And ACC, you like LSU. I'm sure. Well, let me see. Let's see. They had Burrow. They had Chocolate Eclair at running back. They had Moss Jr. at tight end. Oh, and by the way, Jefferson and Chase is the wide receivers. And you wonder why they put up 50 points a game. I mean, all he had to do was just throw the ball up, and Jefferson and Chase was catching it. I love the Clemson game. I love the Alabama game. It was just beautiful to watch. But, yeah, I mean, what a team that LSU team is. Against real teams, Burrow lit it up. That's my point. Yeah, well, Florida State and Clemson. I didn't like what Florida State did. They got shafted, which we all knew, but they should have played to say, see, you left us out. Instead, they didn't try. How did that 50 points to, who was it? Georgia. I mean, what are you doing not playing? You could have got a big one. You could have beaten Georgia and said, look how good we are. That's what you should have done. And that happened with Central Florida beating Auburn when they had my guy, whatchamacallit, my good quarterback, Mackenzie Milton, and he got hurt, and they were undefeated. No, maybe he didn't get hurt yet. He's undefeated. No, it was the year before he got hurt. And they're undefeated, and they're not even in the playoff. And they played Auburn, and they kicked the shit out of Auburn. And they said, we should have been in the playoff. We would have won it. And I agree. How do you keep them out? Didn't make any sense. What's the point? What's the point of having a playoff and you don't include an undefeated team who beats a good Auburn team at the time? And yeah, I still like the Ducks, but just not on big teams due to them costing me in big games. Yeah. Well, then why don't you like Washington? I can't believe you don't like Penix. They beat Oregon twice, and Oregon was a very good. And then they beat your Texas team. So I don't know why you don't like Penix. I love Penix. Penix He's the real deal. I mean, they got 2 bullshit holding penalties against Michigan, where they win that game. I mean, because they were like 35-yard plays, and they get called back on the Michigan fixed game. Yeah, Penix is good, but I don't know why you don't like Bo Nix. I mean, that guy, in the Washington game, he was like 19 of 20 for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns and a half. At what point are you? What do you need to like Bo Nix? I don't get it. I put Daniels and Penix on my top 2. Yeah, I agree with you. And Bo Nix is right there, as is Hartman and Van Dyke. I don't know why he's not coming out. He's at Wisconsin. What the fuck's that going to do? See, here's my theory. What does KC do? They draft Rice. Where's he from? SMU. What's SMU? A great passing thing. He was their best receiver, him and Kelsey, and that's how they won the Super Bowl with Rice and Kelsey. Out of SMU. That's my point. Just draft the kid out of SMU or TCU, anything like that. Who knows what round they drafted him in. That's what you go to a passing school and you get their best receivers. Why is this so hard to draft a receiver? Unbelievable. I mean, and they're the guy go. Now you got a great receiver with Kelsey. This year you draft another kid out of SMU or Oregon or Washington. Washington's got some good receivers, I see. But if the Bears take Drake May, even if they take Caleb, they need to trade Fields. Now, I don't mind taking – I got the 1 pick. I'm drafting one of these superstar quarterbacks. I would probably, if I was the Bears, take Daniels because they seem to have a good running, and then I would draft Brock Bowers or somebody with I think they got the 9th pick. So they got the Carolina pick and then their lovely pick. And then I would just cut Field. I would try to trade him. I don't know anybody would want him. The biggest thing is, who really needs to trade up for the 1 pick is Dallas. They got to get rid of Dak, and they need a running back. They could trade Dak to the Bears for the 1 pick, and then they could draft Daniels or Penix. They'd be set. They'd go to the Super Bowl, but they're too stupid to do that. It'd be perfect. The Bears would get their quarterback, who they believe that Dak's any good. I don't know why. And then Dallas could get the 1st pick and get a real quarterback who doesn't choke, Daniels or Penix, and off they go. But McCartney at Michigan doesn't show me enough. He didn't play enough games against good teams and do anything. Yeah, he'd be like 10 of 15, 180 yards, and a few touchdowns and a few interceptions. I didn't see anything from him. That's more of a system. Michigan ran the ball heavy, so as soon as they put 9 guys in the box, he probably threw the ball. Big fucking deal. That's not like Penix or Bo Nix or Daniels. Daniels played Alabama, right? And they're winning until he gets the cheap shot. So he beat them the first year. So you got to love Daniels beating Alabama. And Bo Nix beating Oregon twice and Texas. Got my vote right there. There you go. There's the first 2. May didn't beat anybody. And Caleb, did he win any big games? I don't think Caleb won any big games. Now I'm curious. Caleb. All right, let's see what Caleb's up to. Did he win any big games? I don't think Prime Jr. won any big games. He just had that good game against TCU, and then he had a good game against Colorado State. All right, let's. This second. Clemson 31, North Carolina 20. Okay, here we go. USC, UCLA. So in that game, UCLA beats them 38-20. Caleb, 31 out of 42, 384 yards, 1 touch, 1 interception, sacked 4 times. But we really want to know is their schedule. Let's try standings. All right, USC 5-4, 8-5 overall. What's the biggest win for Caleb? Let's try teams. So what I'm looking for is the initial, but all the games are over, so I can't go. I could click on USC and it'll show me their schedule, or I'm trying to find that. I think I'm close to it. All right. So let's see the biggest game Caleb won. Any thoughts, Bobby Bo? They beat a tough San Jose State team, 56. Nevada, Stanford, Arizona State, Colorado. The biggest win so far is Arizona, 43-41. They lose to Notre Dame, 48-20. They lose to Utah without a quarterback, 34-32. They beat a weak offensive Cal team, 50-49. They lose to Washington, 52-42. They lose to Oregon, 36-27. They lose to UCLA, 38-20. So of Caleb's wins against the good defense, UCLA, I give him credit for scoring 27 on Oregon. They lose to Washington, Oregon, UCLA. They lose to Utah. So the good defensive teams, Utah, UCLA, they do score a little bit, but lose. Oregon lose. Notre Dame lose. So his best win is an overtime win against Arizona. It was tied at 28 at the end of regulation. Arizona had a pretty good defense. Beating Colorado, Arizona State, Stanford, Nevada, and San Jose State was okay. But he beat nobody. He beat Arizona. We'll give him credit for Arizona. Lose to Notre Dame, Utah, Washington, Oregon, UCLA. And then he doesn't play. They beat Louisville. So there's your Caleb experience. Lost 5 games against good teams. You want to draft him number 1? Good luck. Like I tap 2. My problem with Nix is that he sucked at Auburn. Well, yeah, okay, but he played 2 years at Oregon, and by the way, Penix sucked at Indiana, and then he played 2 years at Washington. Looks like a pretty good fucking quarterback. And so Bo Nix played lights out for 2 years. You got a bad offensive coordinator and a bad system. That's why he transferred. Look at Troy Aikman. He was at Oklahoma for some reason. What the fuck did he go there for? They ran a wishbone with Barry Sanders or with Barry Switzer. And then he goes to UCLA and wins the Heisman. I mean, so, just because he's at a bad school, maybe they lied to him and said, we're going to change our offense. And then they got a different coordinator and he didn't know how to change it. And they end up not looking good, but he looked good at, all you can do is take the 2 years at Oregon. I feel like Oregon quarterbacks continually turn out to just be system guys. I don't even think they're system guys. Mariota, I didn't find was very good. I don't know who else was there that was thought of. Justin Herbert, he's done okay. I don't know where you're getting. He's the assistant quarterback. He looks pretty fucking good. So I don't know, Bobby Bo. I don't agree with you there with Justin Herbert. Other than Herbert, as I think he's a legit good talent. There you go. Great minds think alike, Bobby Bo. Yeah, I don't know where you get that Oregon's a system at all. It was with Chip Kelly and that jet sweep. That was a system, and that's why Mariota ran on it. I didn't think Mariota was a good quarterback. Washington's quarterbacks have had a problem. Jake Browning was terrible. The guy on Cincinnati, I think, was Browning. He was terrible this year. All you can do is go by the numbers. The only system was Alabama, who's now got the Washington coach, I believe. So look for them. And then this will be interesting because Alabama won't have the defense they normally have. Washington did not have a very strong defense last year. It was okay. But Alabama will become an offensive team without a defense, and they've been pretty good defensively. This will be curious with them. Are they going to be my over team? I think so with the Washington coach. But that's what you're looking at. The systems are Ohio State and Alabama. Those are your systems that the quarterbacks always suck in. As we see Mac Jones at New England and Tagliavua, and now Steve Young at Carolina. They all suck. They're all terrible quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts couldn't even make it, and now you think he's good. And then wait a minute, they were 10-1. They ended 10-7, and got killed by Tampa in the playoff game because all you had to do was blitz Hurts, and he chokes. So I'm not sure Hurts is any good. And that's how you're going to defeat Kyler Murray is all these running quarterbacks. If you would just do what KC did and blitz Lamar, guy's nothing. That's all you got to do. I tell you, blitz him. Oh, look, KC blitzed him and they win, 17-10. Oh, yeah, I guess I know how to beat him, right? I was on 7 different teams in my career and I never sucked. Yeah, but that's different, Bobby Bo, because you're hitting the ball. I mean, there is no system to hitting the ball. You either can hit it or you can't hit it. And you could hit the ball and you're playing outfield. So it's not a system like football where you have a whole offensive system. You got a running quarterback or an option quarterback or a drop back quarterback. Burrow, they make their own systems. So it's a whole different sport, baseball and football. Sorry, volleyball. You're just going up and you're ripping at the ball. Either you can hit or you can't. There's no system to your hitting. Well, except for my last 3 years or so. Well, you're the man, Bobby Bo. You're in the pros. You're in the big leagues. You're the man. You got to woo with Ric Flair. That's about all. That's all you need to say. If you wooed with Ric Flair, you're the man. But baseball is totally different. You go up to hit. Nobody's systemizing you how to hit. Not like football where you can have Ohio State and Alabama system, and then when you get to the pros, they don't run that system. Now you're fucked. Look at Fields. Look at, like I just said, all the Alabama quarterbacks. They're all terrible. But look at Penix. Now the Alabama quarterbacks will be good with this with this coach. He's a great coach, and U of M should have signed him. Harbaugh's gone. He would have been a perfect fit. DeBoer, I think he was at Michigan as a coordinator before, but he's a great coach. So Michigan blew that one. Ohio State, they kept Day because they added Chip Kelly as their offensive coordinator. And now who's UCLA's coach? Just weird. Chip Kelly, I think he should just be an offensive coordinator. I don't think he's a good head coach. But those twins should be very good draft. The UCLA twin tackles, they were great. They're all Americans. I would draft. You got to probably draft them both. But yeah, that's where you want to look for defenses. UCLA, Utah. Utah's got studs. Georgia, all over the place. And it's funny how they go to Alabama for defensive guys. That guy from Alabama won the defensive player of the year. What a joke. Why did he win? Because he went to Alabama? He wasn't anything special. I didn't follow that. You're right, Professor. There's a lot of variables in football. Absolutely. That's the whole point of trying to pick it, is to understand all the variables. Play calling, offensive lines, receivers, dropping balls. Yeah, Chip Kelly is now the OC for Ohio State. Yeah, but their problem was their quarterback sucked, and their defense is very good. But you had Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't get it. Why do they think he's such a good receiver? And then they thought Smith-Njigba was really good. He didn't do shit at Seattle. Stupid draft. See, Seattle should have taken Rice because Smith-Njigba doesn't fit. You've got Lockett and you've got Metcalf. What the fuck do you need Smith-Njigba for? You're loaded at receiver. They can't cover either of them. So what do you need a third one for? That's the problem. And he wasn't very good at Ohio State, and he didn't do anything. You could have drafted this Rice out of SMU, and then you'd have had it. That's what you want. You want the guy out of the SMU, the Texas Tech, Washington State. Get those guys. Those are good receivers, and you get them cheap. To get Smith-Njigba, Marvin Harrison, why the fuck would you draft Marvin? Watch him go to the Bears so they can have more weapons for Fields, because he can't throw to the guys we got now. It's pro football. Are you fucking kidding me? This is pro football. The guy you're drafting should be an elite college player and should fit fine. There shouldn't be an issue. If you have pro receivers, you shouldn't have to, we got to bring in Marvin Harrison to give Fields somebody to throw to, because the other NFL players we have on our team are apparently not very good. Really. So it's just stupid. Once they see the name, they jump on him. Marvin Harris' son. He might still be good, but I definitely think Marvin Harrison, being his dad, gives him an up in the draft. Well, I don't argue that, but I do argue that you're wasting a pick with them, especially a team like Seattle who had Lockett and Metcalf. You don't need that guy receiver. The Bears could use Marvin Harrison. Carolina could use Marvin Harrison. Detroit, see, that's what Detroit tried to do with the Alabama receiver, right? They get this guy and he sucks and he can't catch the pass and he's always getting hurt. But if you got Marvin Harrison and he's the stud, that's what you're expecting in a first-round wide receiver, not a guy from Alabama who is always injured. So that's kind of what I'm saying. Is Marvin Harrison worth it in a high draft pick when you can get an SMU guy in the 5th round who's just as good? Because they're pro. These are great receivers. I wouldn't waste my time on a Marvin Harrison. I mean, unless who am I that I need this receiver that I can't feel comfortable drafting a Rice in the 5th round? I mean, this is where I'm kind of confused. I don't know. It's not what I would do. Yeah, I know Marvin Harrison's son. He might still be good, but I definitely think Marvin Harrison being his dad I agree. Especially since Marvin's Sr. played with one of the all-time greats and Golden Boys. Peyton the Anvil Manning, yeah. None of the GMs are stoic enough to know any better. Well, that's a lot of it too. They don't know what they're doing, and they draft. Look at the Lions. They trade up for this running back from Alabama. What a mistake. They get the wide receiver from Alabama the year before, and you want to tell me that this GM is good at drafting? Oh my God, are you kidding me? There's so many better running backs and receivers you could have got, not named Alabama. Bote out of LSU. I know he didn't do much for New England. I don't know why, but he's a stud and a half. But yeah, I mean, just they're all. That's where you got to like the Pac-10 or the Big 12 is the receivers. Not so much SEC, but a little bit. Brock Bowers, I'll be interested where he goes. That team will be much better with him. C.J. Stroud was the only guy who turned out to surprise in his first year. He didn't really do much. If you watch him, most of his plays, he scrambles to the right, and then the receivers run across the field, and they kind of get out there. But then let's go to the game against Baltimore, and they got 3 points. They had a punt return for 7. They had 3 points. Where was he? That's my point. Oh, yeah, you can do it against Jacksonville and Tennessee and Indy. So that's 6 wins against nothing, no value team. They lost to fucking Carolina at Carolina. That's my problem. How do you lose to Carolina, who couldn't beat, they couldn't win a game in the SEC. Let's put it that way. Carolina in the SEC couldn't beat Missouri, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, LSU. Couldn't beat any of them, right? And C.J. Stroud loses to them 15-13. Where you couldn't score points against Carolina? What the fuck? So that's where I disagree with that. Marvin, yeah. Richardson didn't even make it through the first month since all he does is run and got his clock cleaned. Well, not only does he just run, he doesn't know how to slide. Yeah, no, I know who you're talking about. He's not a good quarterback. He wasn't a good quarterback in Florida. He's a good runner. So you know what? Draft the guy, put him as a running back, just like what you should do with Lamar. Lamar should be a wide receiver. He should not be a quarterback. I mean, look at the teams that win the Super Bowl. Oh, Brady, quarterback. Mahomes, quarterback. Joe Burrow, Stafford. Yeah, let me see. None of them have a fucking running quarterback, do they? This is like, what are you watching? Even Brock Purdy's pretty. I'm getting more comfortable that he's a good quarterback because against the Chiefs defense, to tie the game at 19, he did good. I would cut the Michigan kicker. He's missed 5 big kicks. He killed us in the Cleveland game where he got Frisco even and he misses a 40-yard field goal to win the game with no time left, and he misses. And then he chokes in the Super Bowl. He kicks it low, and it goes 19-19 in overtime, and you miss the extra point. So it should have been 20-19. You want to keep that guy on your team? He missed 5 kicks. He's a choke. He can't handle the pressure. I would get rid of him. This is the problem with these Michigan guys. All they did was run the ball and play, and they had a good defense. That's it. How do you draft a quarterback or receiver? I don't know. And maybe you draft their offensive lineman, and I guess I would draft some guys from their defense. I don't know. I couldn't watch any of their games. I mean, I can't watch when they play high school teams. It's just the Ohio State game. I remember. Maybe I'll watch that, but Ohio State has such a bad quarterback. It was hard to gain anything out of that. Hey, Greg and John. Even in the last game against KC, I was hearing the B. Moore was intentionally calling a lot of passing plays to prove that Lamar can win a big game passing. And we all see how that turned out. He can't win. I remember Jimmy Johnson so excited when they beat Houston. See, look, Lamar is a quarterback. And see, he can win a big game. And then they played KC and they scored nothing. And did we hear the Jimmy Johnson come back on about how good Lamar was? So obviously the word's out, he sucks, or Jimmy wouldn't have been like, oh, see, look, he is good. He beat the Lions. Like, oh, isn't he wonderful? Yeah, George Blanda could beat the Lions today at about 90 years old. See, this is like you say, Bobby, it's all media. It's like they all love Lamar. But why? What did he do? Why do you love Lamar? What does he do? He doesn't win any games, any big games. You can't bet on him to win a big game. So why is he so popular? Because he runs, and you want him to win because he can run. What the point are you trying to prove here? He doesn't even throw for 22 yards most of the time. It's just big, exciting runs he does because he's got nice moves in the open field. So he should be a punt returner or a receiver, but not an actual top quarterback. And this is why you paid the guy how much? $50 million. You know what that does to your team? You want to go get a linebacker? You don't get any money. You want to get a good safety? You don't get any money. You want to get a wide receiver? You don't get any money. You cannot give $50 million to one guy. You have a salary cap. I don't know what it is. Why are they paying quarterbacks so much money? I mean, Bobby, it was $32 million when Stafford signed 3 or 4 years ago or 5 years ago. Why does it keep going up? So it's 50 now. It'll be 60 next year. Why? And you're giving it to like Kirk Cousins. You're not even giving it to good quarterbacks. What is Mahomes going to make? $100 million a year? You're not giving it to good quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins, and what are you going to pay Field? You're going to pay Goff? They're going to pay Goff $50 million for 4 years. Are you out of your mind? Goff is not a good quarterback. He's in a good system. That's why I say keep the offensive coordinator and put Hooker into it and save the $50 million and go get yourself some defense. Then you can be a serious contender. I meant 200 yards. Well, 22-yard passes. I agree with that. I'd rather see Bobby throw a football. Hey, Craig and John. Stop kissing Bobby's ass. 22 yards is more like a Mac Jones type of stat. Yeah. Yeah, I can fling it around, Grega. Dak is going for $60 million. I wouldn't pay Dak $6 million. I won't be running every play like Lamar. Well, this is the point. I mean, look what KC did. They blitzed him. Did he run for any yards that game? Did he throw? He had one touchdown, which was a fluke. And then he had the Zach Flowers fumble at the goal line. And then he threw the interception in the end zone when it was 17-10, late in the game, they need the touchdown. He throws the interception to whom? There was 3 Chiefs who were going to catch the ball, no Baltimore guy. And, they brought in Zay Flowers, which I thought was a mistake from Boston College, really. I didn't see that. Better Marvin Harrison Jr. What would they do with a good receiver? You can't throw it to him. And really, it's just Lamar looked good against Houston. They played man on man, and he would just wait for everybody to run deep, and then he'd go around because they didn't blitz. It's just amazing how stupid. They blitzed him in the first half, and Houston was there, and then they stopped blitzing in the second half, and I would fire the defensive coordinator. The only way to beat him is blitz him. That's what KC did. They held him to 10 points. Dak, Lamar, Kirk Cousins, all these guys just have the same story year after year after year. But why are they making $50 million? I don't understand that. And Dak for 60, I'd tell him, go back to college, wherever. Oh, you played at Mississippi State. I'd be like, you got to be kidding me. It seems the running back is taking a back seat to the quarterback now, getting paid all that money. Quarterbacks are getting way overpaid. And the running backs that are needed, Pacheco, McCaffrey, Funny how they went to the Super Bowl with running backs. I agree. The running backs are much more critical than the receivers. You need them in the red zone and on these 3rd and 1s and 2s. I'd rather have McCaffrey than any of these other receivers. Or should I run McCaffrey or should I run Lamar? I mean, it's unbelievable. They hand the ball to McCaffrey, he gets the first down 99 out of 100. No, let's run Jalen Hurts on the push play. Who hurt his finger on it? Didn't he break his finger or hurt his finger on the play? And that's what you get for running a rugby play. This is your coach's best play. We're gonna shove the quarterback into the line for 2 yards. This is the master stroke right here, and no option off of it. Not like he's going to get it and fake it, and then the receiver can run out. We can hit a touchdown. Nope, we're going to run for 2 yards. We're just going to push our quarterback. What the fuck is that? This is the coach? Really? I like Pacheco a lot. This guy is tough and run. Yeah, well, and Pacheco fits with KC because you got Mahomes and Kelsey, so you got to respect the passing. So you can't gang up on Pacheco. And if you do, Mahomes just hits Kelsey. So it's a very good thing. These dumb teams continue to give them contract extensions. The Madoff play, as the pro calls it. Isn't it the stupidest play? They know you're going to run them right up the middle or a little off the left tackle. So what? They'll figure out how to stop it. But what are you doing? This is your quarterback. You're fucking getting hurt, right? You got to understand the concept. I can't lose my quarterback. I got four running backs, right? Although it's hard to lose McCaffrey, or they could lose Pacheco. They got Chocolate Eclair on Kansas City, so they wouldn't be totally killed. Although I thought Chocolate Eclair would do better. He was so good at LSU. But again, it's with Burrow and by the way, we've got Jefferson and Chase. So who's watching Chocolate Eclair? So that makes it easier too. And why didn't Moss's kid make it? He was great at LSU. He was their tight end. He could catch. TK, you think KC is going to need a better receiver this year? They did drop a lot of balls. No, just get rid of the guys they drop balls. Just cut Tony. Get rid of Tony. You're fine with Kelsey and Rice. I would get another SMU guy in the 5th round and let him play with Rice. But they're fine. They went to the 3 tight end look. I don't have any. KC's set. As long as they sign their 2 defensive players, they got a great defense. They signed, the most important was Spagnolia, which they signed. Why don't more teams sign their coordinators? Because that's really where the problem is. The coach don't know shit. So you got to look at Philadelphia. Good offense, defense coordinator, make it to the Super Bowl. They both leave, and then they fall apart. Why didn't you sign them to extensions and give them raises that they deserve for getting you to the Super Bowl? And then you don't lose your coordinators, because as you can see, you lost 2 good ones, you got 2 shitty ones, and that was it. You can't lose Schwartz, the defensive coordinator. And I don't know who the offensive coordinator went to Indy. I don't know who he is, but you got a guy like Spagnolia, man. I'd be signing that guy for 10 years. Like, you ain't leaving. Mahomes and him, you could seriously win about 7 of the next 10 Super Bowls if they both stay. It's only Joe Burrow that can beat him. So maybe Daniels, he gets on the right team. Like, let's say Dallas woke up and they traded Prescott to Chicago, they traded Prescott to Chicago for the 1, and they drafted JT Daniels from LSU. They could beat Kansas City with Daniels and CeeDee Lamb and the defense, Micah Parsons, and get another running back. Get the kid from Oklahoma State or the kid from Missouri, and you're beating Mahomes with JT Daniels. Maybe Penix, and maybe Bo Nix. But you're not beating them with Dak. You're not winning with Lamar. So, I mean, you've got – even Josh Allen can't handle Mahomes, and he's much better than Lamar. Even though I don't like Josh Allen, he runs too much, and he doesn't slide. I don't know what he is. He's a fullback playing quarterback. I don't know. I don't know why they're all in love with him. He's got a big arm. Like, yeah, but he throws it to the wrong team. I'd rather have a Burrow or Mahomes arm than a big arm and Josh Allen or this Drake May. He's got a big arm. Which team's he going to throw it to? He only threw for 28 touchdowns or 24. That's not a lot when Penix threw for 45 or Bo Nix threw for 45. And here Drake May, number one pick, 24 touchdowns and 9 picks. And you want this guy to be your number one? I got a guy with 45 and 3. I don't know about that. How are you measuring it? Well, you can throw it far. That's it. That's how you measure your quarterback. You can throw it far and you can't read defenses. So that's my guy. So Greg or John, no, I don't think they need a better. They just need another Rice, another SMU, TCU, Texas Tech guy in the 4th round. They'll be fine. Yeah, well, and get rid of Tony, who dropped all the balls. Yeah, Tampa stuffed them at the goal line in that last playoff game. Yeah. Well, that's the point. You can't. It's a stupid play once they figure it out. But that's the thing. There's no option off of it. It's you run the same play. They're going to figure it out. And then what are you going to do? You got to come up with a new play. You don't have an offensive coordinator who can do it. And the coach, who's this coach? He's terrible. I don't get it. Greg, Casey should get Mike Evans to give Mahomes that deep threat again, they don't need Mike Evans. Just draft a kid get one of your Texas A&M guys, Bobby. Philly fell apart since then. Spags is great. He shut down that big Patriots team. I think San Diego should compete against KC this next year. I think they're probably going to. I thought Denver would be much more competitive with Russell Wilson and whatchamacallit, and the coach, Sean Payton. So let's see what Denver does. Sean Payton's a hell of a coach, so I'm going to give him a chance. And Harbaugh, you'll see a much stronger defense. And look for San Diego to I guess we'll call them an A team because they got a good offense. So you can't really call them an under team with Herbert and Kelly and Keenan Allen. All they need is Antonio Gates back at tight end. So they need a tight end. I don't know who, Brock Bowers, but I doubt he'll be there. You need a tight end or at least another something like that. And then you've got everything else. And San Diego, how are they only won 5 games? That shows you it's coaching, right? Watch Harbaugh come in, they'll win 12 games. Easy. He'll install a much better defense. I noticed the Wink Martindale, the game show host, is now the defensive coordinator at Michigan. Very interesting. So I guess the offensive coordinator who cried on TV is their new head coach. Good luck with that. A lot of crybabies, right? Evans I know Evans is an A&M guy, but you don't need Evans. Get who was last year's A&M guy. Draft an A&M guy or a techie or an LSU guy. They're always good. Who else has good? Washington's got some really good receivers, and I'm sure Oklahoma and Baylor, Texas Tech, all the Big 12 can catch. So Kansas State, Kansas got to have some. Kansas had a great tight end. I don't know if he's drafted yet. I can't remember his name, but he was very good. Kansas, man, I would hire that offensive coordinator in a heartbeat. I mean, to score 40 a game with Kansas, I probably want that offensive coordinator knows how to run an offense. offense. The Raiders need a quarterback. The Raiders need to move up and grab. They could get Bo Nix. They could get. See, I don't like if they go after Fields. Go after Bo Nix. Go after Hartman. Grab Van Dyke from Wisconsin. Even the Tulane quarterback's very good. There's a couple. The App State quarterback was really good, Aguilar, but I don't know if he's getting drafted. He's very good. Well, what happens a lot is the guy from Clemson who doesn't start transfers to App State or Troy, and you think, oh, well, I can't get a guy from Troy, but you got to realize he was a Clemson or Ohio State guy. Look at Joe Burrow. He was an Ohio State guy, and he was their second or third string. He couldn't beat out J.T. Barrett. What the fuck? Who's running Ohio State? You got Joe Burrow, and you don't even start him? And he goes to LSU and sets records. And where are you, Ohio State? You're running J.T. Barrett's and Fields and stuff. Oh, my God. And let's not forget that Stenson Benson beat out Fields, and that's why Fields transferred from Georgia to Ohio State. So I'm looking. Nick said that he had thought that Stenson Benson had an alcohol problem. He was an alcoholic, so that's what he thought. Why he didn't play? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he drinks, but how do you win 2 national titles at Georgia and then now you're an alcoholic? I don't know about that one. I don't think I buy that one. I don't smell what Nick's cooking. Bobby, I met Mike in Tampa, and he was a cool guy, so he can go with the title with my boy Mahomes. Well, okay, for you, Bobby, I guess it's a big price, and it might screw up the chemistry. He's better off with Kelsey. Kelsey might get mad, and Pacheco and Rice. So I don't know if you need that stud, but because the problem is they got such a great defense, they need the money for the defense. If they're going to play Kelsey, Rice, and running Pacheco and win a Super Bowl because their defense is the best in the league, I would keep the defense instead of getting a lot of money for Evans. That's my point. Just draft a guy from A&M, and then it's not going to cost you anything, and you can still have the killer defense. As long as you don't fuck the defense up, that's my point. But yeah, Mahomes don't need him or any particular. He's like Brady, where they can make any wide receiver look better than they are. Exactly. Bobby, you got his rookie card and autograph. They need to re-sign Chris Jones. Well, yeah, they will. Bobby, just like Favre did his first year in Minnesota when he made all those no-name guys look great. Sidney Rice, Bernard, Berlin, Shano, Percy Harvin. I love Percy Harvin, but he played I remember he went to Seattle and he played one game. He played the Super Bowl and he ran the kickoff back in 2 seconds, and then the game was over. But yeah, he was he was very fast from Florida, one of the Urban Meyer speed guys. They can also draft one of those LSU guys like Monique. Well, that's my point. Just go to a school that throws the ball. You had Daniels, right? The receivers had to be pretty good for him to throw all those passes. So just grab one in the 3rd or 4th round. That's why I don't want Marvin Harrison. I got to pay him a lot of money, and I could get the same value out of your LSU guys in the 3rd or 4th round without wasting a 1st round on Marvin Harrison, who, as these Ohio States prove, they're not very good when they get into the pros. So I'm not sure I'd be all over Marvin Harrison. Those Vikings receivers were no-namers until Favre got there. I did like Sidney Rice. I think, yeah, he was pretty good before. I think it was from South Carolina or something, but he wasn't too bad. But, yeah, Favre made him better. Those Vikings receivers were no-namers until Favre got there. Then they did nothing after, so it showed all how great Brett Favre was. Well, of course. Well, even like Sterling Sharp. I mean, he made Sterling Sharp, and then Rodgers made Devontae Adams. It's funny, Devontae Adams left to go with his college quarterback Carr from Fresno State, and then they get rid of Carr. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck was the moron doing from New England? The crazy guy, and he gets rid of the quarterback. That's why he came. Now we'll have to see who they get. Would have been cool if he won more rings because his teams were always in the mix. Well, the New Orleans game they would have won that Super Bowl. The game they lost to New Orleans when he got his bell rung because they had a bounty on him or something. Because that's when New Orleans beat Indiana. Minnesota would have beat him. Because Peyton was always a choke. He lost to Tennessee every year. I loved it. Would have been cool if he won more rings. I remember that great game. They lost against the Saints when Favre threw that pick in overtime. Yeah, that he should never have thrown. You got to understand the situation and what was going on, and he didn't. He played so tough that game, getting nailed and almost pulled it out. Yeah, and give Drew Brees credit, he won. And then they beat Indy, which was great. I love the onside kick. See, that's what Sean Payton brings. He runs an onside kick to start the second half of the Super Bowl. And at that point, the game was over, right? You knew the game's over and leave it to Sean Payton to do it. And it was a good onside kick. I don't know why they kick it high. I think it's the stupidest onside kick when they kick it, it goes really high. And then the guy's just standing there and it goes into his lap. And they're blocking and the ball comes down. Why don't you hit a line drive, a foot off the ground and let it go about 15 yards? And then let's have some fun recovering it because the guy ain't going to recover it. So it's just stupid. Why do you kick it to the side near the out of bounds? Instead, bring it in and just skim it along the side or almost just kick it at somebody. Your kicker should be good enough to play dodgeball with the guy. Just kick it into his knee or something, and then let's have some fun. But these little high kicks are the stupid. I don't understand that at all. I mean, who are you kidding? The ball's floating. The guy's going to catch it. It's a no-brainer. What the fuck? He played like a warrior, unlike the else chumps today who had them. Well, they all got to wear dresses today, so, it's ridiculous. It's not even football. Favre threw a lot of picks in his career. Greg John's got to always vampire. He threw a lot of picks. Yeah, okay, and he threw a lot of touchdowns, and he threw a lot of first downs. Hey, Greg John. He did throw a lot of picks. They should never have lost that Giant game. I was in Russia during that game, like 2007 or 8 or 9. And it was that cold day in Green Bay against the Giants, and that's when they beat New England. And it's overtime, and he throws a stupid interception. And see, that's the risk he shouldn't have taken. Just keep getting the easy passes, marching down. That's what Montana would do. 5 yards, 8 yards, 7 yards, first down, 12 yards, 15 yards. Oh, there's Jerry Rice on a slant, 25 yards. But it was always, and the guy was wide open, boom, and we just drive right down the field, Joe Montana. And then when we get into the red zone, he hits John Taylor. Now these guys wouldn't know what to do in the red zone, right? Look how easy it was for Montana to win that Super Bowl in the red zone, hitting John Taylor from the 10, 12-yard line with 10 seconds left versus, look at these guys now struggle at the goal line, at the 10-yard line. They struggle to get it in. Look how easy it was for Montana, and that's why he's Montana. That's why he's the real GOAT. Yeah, Greg, but he also won a lot of games, was always in the playoffs mix, always played injured, needed, and always kept fans on the edge. Well, didn't he play like 150, 60 games in a row, Favre? I thought he had the record for most continuous games. I appreciate watching Favre. He won me a lot of money. Well, of course. Just tended to get a bit reckless in some playoff games, unfortunately. Well, that's what happens. Yeah, Bobby, great player, one of the best. But he's no Bobby Bo. Bobby Bo, we're a little disappointed you didn't play football. You could have strutted around like Ric Flair. You could have like said, "Look, I got $1,000 shoes and rings, and maybe you come out in a robe." That would have like. Why don't they ever do that in the NFL? Come out like Ric Flair and just start wooing the crowd. And I could. He did play football. Could you imagine him as a quarterback? He'd get under center, and instead of the count, he'd go, 22, woo, 48, woo. And then he'd throw the ball, and then he'd start dropping elbows on everybody. It'd be so funny if he played football. Kyle Shanahan, oh, don't say that. He's not a great coach. Didn't he lose a 28-3 lead? Yeah, that was Shanahan. If baseball was so bad today, I would have laughed. Was as bad as today. Yeah. Well, no, the Nature Boy is a quarterback. That would be classic. You wanna do a spoof, the Nature Boy wooing as quarterback, and then a guy would hit him. This would be funny, Bobby. He'd go back to pass, and the guy would touch him, and he'd do one of those flops on his head that he does when he gets hit off the ropes that you can tell is real fake. He'd be diving. The ref would throw a flag. Yeah, you hit Ric Flair. Look, he dove. He dove. But the problem is, then he'd give the ball up and try to get the lineman in a figure four, and he'd throw an elbow, and then he'd do the chops. I mean, oh my God, we could have a field day with Ric Flair. Baseball was still fun and cool back then. Yeah, baseball was good then. Now, let's have a pitch clock. What the fuck's that all about? Oh, we're talking Nature Boys at quarterback in the NFL, chopping the linemen as they come to him to try to sack him. Yeah, he does that signature face final drop. He's been doing it. I mean, wouldn't that be classic in the football game? He'd be going back. It's the fourth quarter, and he goes back, and some lineman touches him, and he does the flop in front of the ref, and he gets a roughing the passer penalty from it. Oh, God. That and the chops he does, and the crowd yells woo as the chops land. There was an interview with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat would fight Ric Flair. I guess they're both from Minnesota, or they were both at the camp where they learned. And he said he would actually hit Ric Flair as hard as he could. They were not fake. When he hit Ric Flair, he hit him as hard as he could in the chest. And Rick would hit him as hard as. So these are real chops being thrown by Steamboat and Ric Flair. I love Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I guess that was the best WrestleMania match, was the Macho Man against Steamboat. It had like 15 1-2-3s that 1-2'd, and they kept kicking out, and it went on for like 20 minutes. But it was like an hour match. That was supposedly like the best. I'll try to find it on YouTube, but that was like the best match ever in a WrestleMania. See, we span the globe here, from football to baseball to wrestling to Ric Flair. It always ends with Ric Flair wooing. Then he does the sloppy sideways moonsault off the top rope that never ever lands. That's like The Rock. If you ever notice The Rock give the was it the people's elbow where he runs and then drop? He doesn't come within 3 feet of the guy. If you see a good angle, he ain't even close. And then he pins the guy and is like, he missed him by 5 feet. What the fuck? He does the same 4 spots every single match for the past 50 years or whatever. Hold on. He came in didn't he come in the 70s? So yeah, it's 50 years. The moonsault. The Rock is back in wrestling, Bobby. He also owns the UFL now. I didn't know he was back in wrestling. I knew he was in the UFL. I don't know where that's going. Are we going to watch spring football? Seriously? I don't think so. Not with that level. But yeah, you need more Ric Flairs in sports and baseball. You need a guy to watch, right? There's nobody in baseball worth watching. And football, you got Mahomes and you got Burrow. And if you added Ric Flair, it would be good. In basketball, he'd be dangerous in basketball because they're wearing shorts, right? So he'd fit in just as good there. He could do his flop just like in football. He could run in and then face first, and the ref would call a foul. I'm sorry, LeBron. Ric Flair took the dive. You must have hit him. Let's get on the UFL. Well, all I can say is my strategy would work in any sport. You're looking for the A team, the Z team, the over and the under, and then bet accordingly. So in the UFL, we'd look for the best quarterback, the best defense, and bet accordingly. And it probably works. Basketball, it's very hard because the teams are so bad. It'd be very hard. I guess you would probably look at the best against a weak defensive team. Who's this, Daria? No, Andre. So my friend just sent me this. The banks are collapsing, so we'll have to watch this. They don't know how to stop it. So now when you guys are wondering when gold's going, when the dollar's collapsing, right? So we're sitting there and I'm telling you it's going to zero, and you're like, when, Luke, when's gold? And then you see this, the banks are collapsing and they don't know how to stop what's going on. The massive sell-off of U.S. treasuries. So we're broke. Nobody wants them. What happens when there's no demand for a product? It's worthless. Goes to zero. If the banks are collapsing and they don't know how to stop it, that puts the value of the dollar at zero. Nobody wants them. When you have a product nobody wants, as I say, if I try to sell this and nobody wants it, it's worthless. If I put an auction and I get $50, it's worth $50. If I put out 10 auctions and nobody wants it and it's sitting on the store, it's worthless. So if the banks are collapsing and they don't know how to stop what's going on. So I will watch this and report back. I'll come back on if it's something that's an emergency for today. But if nobody wants the debt and the dollar, it's done. It's worthless. There must be demand for the product. And there ain't any demand. Now, this could be coming from China and Russia saying, that's it, they're done. You think Putin, you don't think they want the U.S. to collapse? Then they're the Alabama, Russia and China. This is ironic. I'll be in Russia. Maybe I'll go talk to Putin when I'm there. Tell him, come on, buy some gold. But me and Bobby Bowen want the gold and silver to go up. Let's go, Putin. Let's go. Come out with that gold-back ruble already, the gold-back Brics. That's all it takes. I'm telling you it's worthless. And now we're getting banks collapsing. So I would call your bank, see if you have any money in it. If you still have a lot of money in your bank, I can't help you because I've warned you 1,000 times to put it in your fucking safe and buy gold and silver with it. So I hope you got your money out and you are in safety with gold and silver, because when this shit happens, it's like a snowball and it's just rolling downhill and you can't stop it. Or the Titanic, it goes, the water's coming in, you can't stop it. This is why I say that. I know what's going on. The dollar, you can't just keep printing and printing and printing. Nobody will want it. And when nobody wants it, it's worthless. And if this is what's happening, I hope you got your money out of the bank. I hope I can get to Russia. I finally meet Daria, and I hope I can get there. TK, the NBA All-Star game was horrible. I don't watch that shit. Oh, yeah, I did saw a little clip of him making an appearance and on SmackDown with his real-life cousin, who's the champion now, apparently having issues with Dustin Rhodes' son or something. Like, you're watching too much wrestling, Bob. So what are you saying that the what's his name? Yeah, I know the champ is he's got the Superman move, but I can't remember his name. Yeah, that was The Rock. The Mayavias are all like The Rock's cousins and in-laws and everything. But see, now he was charismatic. Now, will this league work because The Rock's behind it? No. You want to see The Rock play. You don't care that he's the fucking owner of the league. What am I going to do? Watch it? He might get sponsors because he's The Rock, but he ain't playing. It's like Michael Jordan owns the Washington Capitals or the Washington Redskins, whatever they're called in basketball. Washington Bullets. He doesn't. You don't turn it on to see him as the owner. I mean, that team sucks. He's done nothing. There's such bad general managers and owners in sports now. It's just terrible. I met Ric Flair. Oh, come on, Greg and John. And have his autograph. What was that? A wrestling. You told us the same thing the other day. You have somebody else's autograph. I don't know. Did he woo for you? I got his cards, but I don't have him autographed. I actually did make some money in the NBA All-Star over. It was literally the easiest over I ever won in my life. Zero defense is up and down. What was the over, Bobby? See, that's now you're learning, Bobby. You realize you got good offenses. You got two over teams, right? You got good offenses and no defense. They're going to score a lot of points. What was the score? 213 to 185. So they played 8-9. They played a 398, and you got it at 355. You went by 40 points. So you won it like early in the fourth quarter, probably. Yeah. I mean, that's how you played it perfectly. Did you play the flag football game in the NFL All-Star game? What is that? They play flag football in the NFL. What the fuck is that? That's ridiculous. And once I saw they were so fast-paced, I put in a live bet and got it at 369. Yeah. Well, very good. But now, what are your odds on this? I assume the first one's before the game at 11 to 10. And then what would be the 369? Is that also 11 to 10? You're being stoic and you have gut instinct. There you go. All my lessons are coming to roost. The gut instinct is I have a feeling it's going to win, or you have a feeling about the girl, or you have a feeling about poker or something. And so you knew it was high scoring and you said, well, why not bet more? I would have questioned why you didn't bet more at the 355 mark. The flag football game was the worst game. Well, yeah, what was the over? Was it a high scoring game? Greg and John, we got to find you things to do. You're watching, like, you're not even watching real sports. The NFL flag football and the basketball All-Star game are not like real sports. Now you're going to tell me about the hockey All-Star game. The Chiefs were at plus 225 when they were down 10-0. And I knew Holmes would come back, so I won 3 different bets on them. Last week it was, yeah, I know. I remember you telling me that. Greta, don't watch the real game. He just watches the All-Star games, yeah. Greta, I like it. Greta, John. So what was your line on the overs, Bobby, in the baskets? Are they 110 to win 100? Greg watched the flag football Pro Bowl and missed the Super Bowl. Oh, God. How do they have flag football? Really? We're this scared of injuries. We're going to have flag football and professional tackle football. Oh, my God. Yeah, I keep getting that. great tight. Oh, that's okay. Daria keeps spelling her daughter's name wrong, so I don't know where she's getting the name. It's like there's no L-Y in the name. It must be the phone, how it finishes the word for you, and she's probably typing fast. So I'm glad I took out some of the stuff. I didn't want to get too much like on the daughter, but I can see she's just being careful. If I think about it, she probably is excited I'm coming, just wants to make sure that I really am a good guy. She doesn't want to get her feelings hurt that I'm some asshole or something. So I'm taking it a little too personal, so I shouldn't. That's why I rejected some of it. I like the Greto. Call him Greto instead. So is his real name Greg, or is it John, or is it Gregor? I mean, who is he? Tommy John? I mean, who is this guy? Is he a ball player or what, Bobby? He knows you. Does he like mow your lawn, or is he a pro? We don't know enough about Greta John. The 355 was before the game, but once I saw they were just running up and down the court, shooting uncontested threes and dunks, I thought there's no way this don't go over, and I saw it at 3. No, I'm asking what was your odds on it? Like the 355 before the game, is that 110 to win 100? And then the 369, as you saw when you bet it, what are your odds? Are you bet 110 to win 100? Just odds-wise. That's the question, Greta. So it's funny, Daria says, I was in a group. And I said, what kind of group was it? Oh, okay. 110. Well, that's fine. You should do that with USC, because they just run up and down and play, and they'll play defense either. And this quarterback looks better than Caleb. So, I think you should do this with college football. Bet the overs live, and except for the Notre Dame game when Notre Dame killed them. I had the over in the Notre Dame USC game. I knew USC would score, and I knew they couldn't stop them, and I won, but it was the Notre Dame defense that kept getting the turnovers and running it in for touchdowns that I got the over in. But, I really haven't done much live betting. I don't know. I don't watch enough during the games to do it, because now I can't handle all the commercials and the refs and the injury, half the games timeout and commercial. Yeah, the odds were not as juicy as the KC or anything, but I just thought it was easy money. I had to do it and never broke a sweat. Yeah, that's kind of what the Super Bowl. KC was winning, as soon as they went up 13-10, it was under, and it was KC getting 8 points. I mean, that's the best was the KC Baltimore KC and 10 points, and they were leading 17-7. And that was it. I mean, it was that was beautiful. TK, who are some underrated football players in your opinion? I don't know. Underrated? Well, according to Bobby, KJ Jefferson is, and I would say underrated. I don't know. Probably more so. Well, like this Kyle Trask, the Tampa Bay backup quarterback, should be starting. I think Dak Prescott and Cousins are overrated. They stink. Lamar's overrated. Heineken and Riddler at Atlanta, these guys are overrated. I don't know too many underrated ones. Maybe this Rice on KC, he's very good. He's probably underrated. I don't know if he's rated. And like a Pacheco. And then I think the Dallas running back is overrated. Whatever is the number 20. So it's hard to say, and I'm not really thinking like that now. I look for the big names. You know, Mahomes and Burrow, they're the superstars. And Ric Flair, of course. KC was an underdog 3 out of the last 4 games and cashed in every single one. That's Mahomes. That's what you do is you find Mahomes, and that's what you bet on. Brady and Mahomes as dogs are money. And don't forget, whatchamacallit, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is a very, very strong underdog. We had him in the championship game against KC when they went to the Super Bowl. They were a dog, and they won. And then last year, not this year, when Mahomes had the ankle and Burrow and he was the dog there and we won. He was the dog and when the guy got killed at Buffalo, he was the dog and they were up by 20 and then they beat Buffalo. Joe Burrow is a strong dog with Chase. As long as Burrow and Chase are playing and you got all that LSU, Bobby, that's really the underrated dog play. Everybody knows about Mahomes, but Joe Burrow, keep your eye on him as a dog. And that's a game that I would look to bet it live, right? If they go down 7-0, like against Baltimore or against Pittsburgh or something, man, you just load up. Okay. Because I know Burrow's going to win the game if he stays healthy. He had Baltimore. They were up like 17-7 when he got hurt with the cheap shot. But outside of that, that's your live play, Cincinnati with Burrow. College football is such a joke. All these players transfer and all the coaches transfer, all the offensive coordinators transfer. It's going to take you 4 weeks to figure it out unless it's Michigan who played a bunch of shit teams. So I did not know who Michigan was till after the Ohio State game. That's how bad the schedule was. They had beaten absolutely nobody. They had played absolutely nobody. Give them a little bit for Penn State, who really wasn't that good. Maryland gave them a better game. That's what I thought Washington would do to them. And then they finally beat Washington at the end of the year. But had they should have lost to Alabama. The guy fumbles. And had they played Georgia, they never would have beat Georgia. They would not have been able to run the ball on Georgia, which would have made McCarthy have to pass, which you can't do. So that's what that's at. But yeah, add Burrow to that list, and then we'll see. Maybe Justin Herbert this year with Harbaugh. They'll be a tough out. We'll look at Denver as a dog. They'd be tough. The Jets, the JETSs are tough if Aaron Rodgers is playing with that defense. So yeah, it'll be interesting, but I don't buy these guys from North Carolina, Pickett and Trubisky, and all of a sudden you're going to make them the number 1 pick in the draft. What did they do? Yeah, there's a reason they win. That's why we like Burrow. He wins. That's why we like Penix and Bo Nix and Hartman and these guys. They're winners. That's why it's so hard to sit there and get on Drake May's bandwagon. What has he done? Daniels beat Alabama. Hooker beat Alabama. Okay, they won big games. That's who I want. Trevor Lawrence never won a big game. Why they're all excited about him? He sucks. There's more overrated guys than underrated guys, Greg and John, I think. Because they try to make like Lamar. Why is he MVP? What did he do? Did he win the Super Bowl? No. Did he get to the Super Bowl? No. Has he ever gotten to the Super Bowl? No. Has he ever won the championship game? No. Well, I guess that would mean he'd win the Super Bowl. So why is he the MVP? Doesn't win anything. So anyway, I don't buy that. Anyway, yeah, Tony Pollard, he's way overrated. I mean, Dallas, they'll never win with Dak Prescott. And after 8 years of losing with them, you wonder what goes through their minds going, well, we got Dak Prescott. Oh, now we got CeeDee Lamb. They had Amari Cooper. He didn't do anything there. Then he went wherever he's at now, and he's playing better. I think Cleveland. Where was he at Oakland? Didn't show up. Or wherever we're talking. But yeah, it's these guys just aren't. Or Dallas, yeah, they're just not very. Dak Prescott can't read and throws a lot of interception, a lot of turnovers. And then he runs the ball too much when he should pass it. I 1,000% agree with Professor. They overhype the same guys and are wrong on pretty much all of them. But it doesn't make any sense. Why Drake May? What is so good about him? Why would he be the number one pick? Why would Caleb be the number one pick? What are you seeing that I can't see? And I see everything. If I don't think they're number one picks, I think it's Bo Nix and I think it's Daniels and Penix. And Hartman should be right up there, not maybe the one, but the two or the three. Those are your four stud quarterbacks. I don't even see Hartman and Bo Nix up there because he had a bad year at Auburn 12 years ago, so he can't be a good quarterback. Oh, yeah, but the fact he was like 39 out of 40 for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, let's not count that. Come on. He killed Colorado. He killed a lot of these teams. But let's not count that. He wasn't any good at Auburn. Oh, my God. I mean, that's just amazing. But that's the problem. Where's Bo? I saw a mock draft that had Drake May going 1 and Caleb. I think Daniels. And that was it. No Penix, no Nix, no Hartman. So basically, if they're not a running quarterback who never wins anything, then why would we draft a drop back quarterback like Nix or Penix or Hartman who are deadly accurate? We don't want them. Jesus Christ. Well, Bo Nix did get hurt at Indiana 12 years ago, so why would I draft him? Oh, my God. They got another D.C. Zimmer. Yeah, he was good as the Minnesota. Well, he's Cincinnati defensive coordinator. Went to Minnesota, had a pretty good team, but he had Kirk Cousins. See, this is where the coach gets fucked by the GM. I'm going to go coach Minnesota, and you got Kirk Cousins, and I go, Kirk Cousins stinks. I don't want Kirk Cousins. He wasn't any good at Michigan State, I remember. He was average at Michigan State, and you're watching him play. He doesn't. The guy that had impressed me at Michigan State was the other quarterback, Connor Cook, who disappeared off the face of the earth. I thought he was very good, yet he played the year for the Raiders, played in that playoff game, and that was all you saw from him. He was fucking great in college. I didn't understand that. Anyway. They have Bo Nix low. Well, it's why? Threw for 77% on 4,000 yards, 45 touchdowns, and 3 picks, and 5 sacks. What's wrong with this guy? What is it that you don't? To me, he's Drew Brees, right? What is it you don't like about him? He doesn't run. He went to Oregon, so he's with Bobby Bowe and Justin Herbert. I mean, what is it you don't like about the guy? So I don't really see it or understand it. But they'll draft Drake May and they'll draft Caleb, and then they'll be like Carolina. Why was Steve Young drafted 1? What did they see in that? Go to my draft video last year, Greg, and you'll hear me break down that draft. And it was the same question. The real good quarterbacks, Hooker and Haener and Stenson Benson, should have gone 1, 2, 3. Now, you didn't play Haener and Stenson Benson, I guess, with the alcohol, and Hooker with the injury, but they're better than what you had. The Lions should sign their offensive coordinator, trade Goff, and then go to Hooker. And, I mean, why did you draft him? And he's proven he's a good quarterback. He looked great at Tennessee. He had all the 50-point game against Alabama. What are you worried about? That's what I don't understand. 50 points against Alabama. What are you worried about? So I don't know. we will see. Anyway, I'll report what's going on with Daria and the daughter. And I was a little bit too stoic, so I kind of retracted a little bit. And I'm sure everything will be all right. And then it's just a matter of where I'm going. If I'm getting a hotel room in St. Pete or we're going to Turkey or what we're doing. I said I can come for a month. So if she needs me the first 3 days in the hotel and if everything works out, I can go to her apartment. I got to know that because I got to know how to book the flight. But I'm not worried about she won't like me. Jenna likes me. She'll like me. Jenna's a lot tougher. So we will see. But anyway, yeah, it is kind of weird that like, oh, we might not like you, or I got to make sure you're as nice as you seem. It's like, oh my. But see, here's where stoic comes. You've got to use their perspective. Why would she ask that question? She must have been put into that situation. And so I think you've got to realize, instead of taking it I'm taking it personal. Well, I'm very honest. Why would you think I wouldn't be? You got to look at their point of view and say, well, why are you asking that question? What has happened that, that's what I said. Did you meet another guy and he was not nice to you? And if that's the case, then okay. Or I'm so nice that I can't be real. You'll see. Anyway, Goff is not the answer in Detroit. He wasn't the answer in the Rams. Should never have been the number 1 draft pick, and you can watch my draft video there. He sucked against Utah, and he wasn't a stud. He played at Cal. He was good, but in the big game against Utah, he threw 5 picks. There you go. He's not very good in a big game. He choked at the Rams, got in the Super Bowl, 13-3 and the only reason they got the Super Bowl because they ran the Georgia guy. So it was all running that got him into the Super Bowl, not Goff. Goff just threw a few passes. So understanding that, he ain't going to get you into the Super Bowl. Look at him. The 2 key 4th down plays against San Francisco. What did he? 2 incompletions. What are you doing? One was kind of in front of the receiver, behind him. The other one was 10 yards short. I think got deflected. But the point is, those are the pressure you needed to convert. Joe Montana converts, but you don't convert. You didn't read the play, and you didn't get out of it. And you, bottom line is, you didn't convert them. Bottom line is, you turned it over. Then you fumbled with the running back. That's your fault. Even if it isn't your fault, it's your fault. You got to make sure if he doesn't get the ball, you got to keep it. So, I mean, that's where you get to is he choked there. He choked in the Dallas game, throwing the interception with 2 minutes left. But he's not a winner. And to pay this guy $50 million to choke, I got better things to do with my money. All right, so 3:39. Bobby, you're gone. You're going to eat. Greg and John. All right, so I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to eat, and I got to read this bank thing and see what the fuck's going on. All right, everybody, have a good night. Let me do something for Daria here. Hi, Derek. Teaching class. Just wanted to say hello and hope everything's good. I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a nice night. Take care. Love you a lot. All right. Take care. Bye-bye. I don't know how much English she knows, but I wanted to do a video for her, but this should be, she doesn't speak good English, so I don't know what she'll get out of it. I'm the best. Bobby's. Oh no, Bobby's going to be. Where's Ric Flair fall into this? Rick's got to be up there. Rick, we'll make Rick 3, and he's got a woo. Anyway, all right. So let me read about the banks, and I'm still looking to see if I can find velocity anywhere, which I can't. but if I find it, I will look at it. But I don't. It's not an Austrian word. So the bank's failing is because the interest rates went up, and again, that's their costs going up, and they're not getting revenue because we're warning everybody to pull your money out of the bank and put it in gold. And that's why ETFs are down. That's why the banks are down. So this will be interesting to see what happens. This is why I don't leave any money in the bank. So when it does collapse, not if it does, when it does, that's fine. Although I don't know how it'll affect Russia. So anyway, I will talk to you soon. Have a nice night. www.teaserking.com. We'll be back with economics tomorrow, depending on what's going on. I might be on earlier. All right. Take care. Have a nice night, everybody.